The ceasefire effort is not over. Elisa Brady, Fox News. That reassurance from mediators, Qatar and Egypt, a day after Israeli and U.S. negotiators left the latest round of talks early, heading home for consultations and accusing Hamas of not really wanting a ceasefire in Gaza. President Trump telling reporters this morning,
"We got a lot of hostages out. We took them out in numbers that nobody believed, a lot of them. And I said, when you get down to 10 or 20, I don't think Hamas is going to make a deal because that means they have no protection." And basically, that's what happened.
His Mideast envoy and the Israeli prime minister say alternatives will now be considered, but the joint statement from Qatar and Egypt says suspending talks to consult before resuming talks is natural in complex negotiations. But the British prime minister just calling Israel's military escalation in Gaza disproportionate and indefensible, and saying that recognizing Palestinian statehood should be part of a wider plan for lasting security for Palestinians and Israelis. Prime Minister Starmer is scheduled to meet with President Trump, who's heading to Scotland, with trade also on the agenda after 3 deals announced this week, including one with Japan.
The biggest part of the Japan deal, and maybe we get this with EU, maybe we don't, is that we have the right to go in and trade. We have the right. They've totally opened Japan just to the U.S. That's, to me, the biggest part of the deal.
The president says he has about a 50-50 chance of a deal with the European Union. The EU Commission leader confirming a planned meeting with him on Sunday in Scotland. 5 Northern Virginia school districts accused of violating federal anti-discrimination law by allowing students into private spaces, including locker rooms, based on gender identity instead of sex. The U.S. Education Department just announcing its findings of Title IX violations, proposing changes, including rescinding the policies. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Hot and humid through the afternoon. Partly sunny skies, though we are watching some scattered thunderstorms around the area as we go through the afternoon. 95 for the high. Tonight, scattered evening thunderstorms out of here very quickly. The atmosphere just goes flat. It's warm and humid, 77. Saturday and Sunday, partly sunny, hot and humid. Nothing more than a spot afternoon storm each day. Mid to upper 90s. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show Live, sponsored by Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Oh yeah, it is the moment you have been waiting for.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom.
Annie's out. Ryan and Brad are in.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
This is the Mannie Frey Show.
Oh, yeah, this is the moment you have been waiting for. We kind of teased all week that we were hosting. Brad and I and Ethan are taking over, and when Annie's gone, it's just guys. So this is the Mannie Frey Show. My name is Ryan Wiggins. Brad and Ethan, I just mentioned, will be in throughout the show. We're going to get right into the news here. But it's really based on yesterday. So at the end of the show yesterday, 3 o'clock, Brad and I stepped out of the studio. Mark Reardon's show was starting. We were just going through our post-game rituals. Brad eats protein right after the show usually. I sit there and
Got to recover.
Either twiddle my thumbs or do something with the podcast, one way or the other. And we started watching. Well, I wasn't even watching. I didn't have the TV on. Brad runs into my office. He goes, "You got to see the press conference that's going on right now." And it was, if you didn't see this, it was really short. And we didn't know. We thought it was going to be, this long thing. It wasn't. It was maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes, where Trump used the authority of the presidency to just walk into the Federal Reserve. And keep in mind, you can't just do that. Nobody can do that other than the president. It's kind of like the Fort Knox thing, actually. We should revisit that at some point, President Trump. Elon Musk and President Trump were on good terms when they were talking about going into Fort Knox. And then nobody ever went into Fort Knox. And it makes you wonder if there's a bigger conspiracy there. I don't know. But you can, if you're the president, walk into the Federal Reserve, and you're really the only one that can do it. And so he just did it. And I just love this kind of crap that he does because he can, and nobody would really do that other than him. So we pulled up the whole press conference for you. And keep in mind, this is not very long, but we're going to play it. And if you can't see it, it's okay. If you're just listening on the radio, that's okay. But this is all within the backdrop of these two guys fighting like crazy. If you've been paying attention, Donald Trump, at any possible opportunity, puts an absolute elbow drop Hulk Hogan style on Jerome Powell and tells him he's an idiot and he's too late, Powell, and he won't do anything to benefit the country, and he's a terrible person. It's not just professional attacks, of course, because it's coming from Trump. It's personal attacks, and saying that this guy is a dummy. And then he goes, and I'm going to come in and tour your facility. So the reason that he's doing that is not just to pressure him to lower interest rates. I'm sure that's part of it. But the reason he's doing it is because the reports have been coming out, and some people in Congress even referred this for criminal prosecution, which is never going to happen, that the Federal Reserve building was $2.5 billion into its renovations. If you've ever renovated a house, spending $10,000 on a bathroom is a lot. And some people do even bigger than that. Like you go into renovations and you're like, oh man, you got these big dreams, and then you spend a lot on them and it comes out really nice. But in context of, a home renovation, this is basically one office, but it's not just one, but it's basically one office building that's being renovated. And it's $2.5 billion into this. And so he goes, that's inappropriate. I'm in real estate. I know how to I know how to do this.
He's toured construction sites.
That's crazy. And if you missed yesterday's show, I mentioned that $2.5 billion would build the Dallas Cowboys stadium twice. That's according to numbers from a few years ago, so maybe not quite entirely.
I remember when they built that stadium, people were outraged. Jimmy Johnson spent over $1 billion on this.
Yeah, and it was like, oh my gosh, this thing is insane. There's no reason to play football at this stadium. It's not even, it's like a multi-entertainment zone. It's not a stadium. Well, and now that's what everybody wants.
And now you're talking about what, $2.5 billion in renovations at the Fed, which isn't that big.
Not even to build a new building.
Right.
Just to renovate the existing building, $2.5 billion. Again, that's at least once over, if not twice over, building the entire Dallas Cowboys stadium. It's insane. Mm-hmm. So that's all the context for this. I encourage you to tune in and watch this if you missed it. But you can hear it as we play it. Here it's the way it starts.
I think we hear the president. Let's tune in.
With the chairman, as you know. Chairman, come on over. And we're just taking a look at what's happening. It's a tough construction job. They're building basements where they didn't exist or expanding them, and a lot of very expensive work.
Okay, Trump is a pretty tall guy. So visually, I'm going to explain what this looks like. He is standing with a hard hat in the basement of the Federal Reserve with the chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, who is not really a short guy, but it pales in comparison to the height of Trump. And he looks like just a really shriveled old man standing there, kind of embarrassed to be standing next to Donald Trump after all this has gone on.
I would say he looks like he's been scolded.
Question about it. And Tim has been with me for a long time, and you're in charge of the committee.
Tim Scott.
One of the reasons why I wanted to see it was the overruns of the expenses, wanted to figure out why.
Yeah. So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about $3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot.
Now hang on now, because right when he says that, Jerome Powell starts shaking his head no.
The 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
What he's saying is, you remember that $2.5 billion number I just said that was the widely reported? He said when he walked in the Federal Reserve and asked for the papers, they came back at a little higher than 2.5. He said it was 2.7. Actually, no, it was 3.1 billion.
I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1,
3.2.
This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
So
you're including the Martin renovation. You just added
our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building. Is what that is. That's a third building.
Well, no, but it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
Yeah, so a lot of people have diced this up. And if you're on X, of course, people are going to go, ooh, the drama. Let's figure out who fact-checked who here. Because they're kind of both doing it to each other.
Yeah.
Jerome Powell is saying, well, yes, the $3.1 billion is true, but that's for a building that we already built.
Yeah, to set the visual for you probably heard him, but he when Donald Trump says $3.1 billion, Jerome Powell gets this big confused look on his face and then snaps his head over to look at him, and then he says, I haven't heard of that. And Trump reaches into his vest or into his jacket pocket and pulls out a piece of paper.
One piece of paper.
And it's like right here. And you can see the little tag and the marker on. He's like, it's right here. So
he says, this is from us? Trump's like, yeah. He looks at it. Yes, it is. That is from us, the Federal Reserve. So then he says, well, $3.1 billion. Well, that includes the other building, and we're already done with that building. And Trump's point is, it's all part of the point.
Right.
And does the point actually change here? Not really. If the place has spent $2.5 billion, there's nobody who hears that and goes, $2.5 billion, that's not that big of a deal. Oh, wait, it was $3.1 billion? Okay, now it's a big deal. Nobody's doing that.
Well, and if you do the math, Trump's saying it went from $2.5 billion to $3.1 billion. That means that on that one building itself, they spent $600 million on it.
Yeah, and that one's done, but it's all part of this same project.
It's not new.
So we're going to take a look. We're going to see what's happening, and it's got a long way. Do you expect any more additional cost overruns?
Don't expect them. We're ready for them, but we have a little bit of a reserve that we may use, but no.
Oh, nice. You have a reserve at the Federal Reserve. That's good to know. Do you expect any more cost overruns? No, we don't expect any, but we do have the money if we do.
We have money set aside.
We don't. We expect to be finished in 2027. We're well along, as you can see.
Nice to take these off every once in a while when we're not under too much danger. So, any questions?
Mr. President, does the issue give you any? As a real estate developer, what would you do with a project manager who would be over budget?
Generally speaking, what would I do? I'd fire him.
That's pretty much the whole conference, ladies and gentlemen. It ends right after that. And that's a fact. And so why is everybody up in arms about this? Well, because there's so much money being wasted. I mean, this is Washington typical, that there's so much money concentrated in one little area there. And people can't believe that somebody's coming in and cleaning it out. Now, before you say, taxpayer money wasted, it's actually not. That's the other wrinkle in this. The Federal Reserve is not funded by taxpayers. It's from interest that it earns on U.S. government securities, so it's adjacent. And the Fed also earns income from fees for services like check clearing and funds transfers. Now, the argument is, well, if they're making this much money, maybe those fees should go down a little bit.
Yeah.
They have an absolute surplus of money that they don't even know what to do with. They're fixing up the basement stuff who cares? And there are lots of people that work at the Federal Reserve because they have such an incredible surplus of cash. But it's semi-privately funded. So at least it's not taxpayer funded. But that's the reason why Congress can't just go do something with the Fed, because the president really is the only one that has any authority over the Federal Reserve other than Congress approving his picks. So it's a weird story, but I loved watching Trump basically walk into this thing and flex. I mean, that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
And he's doing it to try to lower the bigger picture here. He's trying to lower interest rates. He's trying to get them to admit that they have too much money and that they're overspending and under-delivering on their stupid buildings because it's Washington. But at the same time, he's saying that I think it's quarter point that they lower interest rates, it saves taxpayers, the U.S. government, $380 billion or something like that.
Yeah.
It's along those lines. And so he's saying lower it all the way down to 1% and we'd just be out of debt. Like, basically, that's not going to happen. But it's a big deal that the Fed won't lower interest rates. It's political because they did lower interest rates right before the election, and now they won't. And the numbers say better things now than they did then. So it's obviously political. I love having a president that will walk into these situations and just not give a damn. I mean, he doesn't care. And he's willing to be hated by the person he's standing next to get an outcome.
Yeah, the job that he's trying to do is more important than trying to do it in a way where people are like, oh, isn't that nice? Because that's what politics is, making people happy while you're doing the job. He's not worried about that.
How does President Trump benefit from this? Not at all. The
Getting
country,
the job
the
done.
country benefits from it. If interest rates are lowered, the U.S. can finance its debt at a lower rate, and that saves everybody money. So he's working on our behalf, and I thought that was really cool yesterday to watch. Just classic Trump, just walking into a situation where he'd been absolutely railroading this guy, and then all of a sudden, hey, let's talk. I'm going to come over, and we're going to shake hands. We're going to take a short break, really short break, and be right back with Fox's Eben Brown about the Ghislaine Maxwell interview that's happening with the DOJ. Stick around. We'll be right back real quick.
Have you been notified that your subsidy for Obamacare health insurance is going away? Well, you can leave now while you are still healthy and can qualify for much better individual plans. Greg Hammonds at greghammonds.com has been helping people get affordable health insurance with great coverage for over 35 years. Greg offers private health insurance plans that are not on the ACA marketplace. You can pick your doctors. For most claims, you won't even pay a deductible, and they're 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. One more thing, there's no tax penalty at the end of the year. Greg even has plans that are guaranteed acceptance. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan by you, not the government.
Annie Frey is back because truth doesn't take a break. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Would you consider a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell?
It's something I haven't thought about. It's really something. It's something I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about.
But you wouldn't rule it out,
Ghislaine Maxwell being interviewed by the DOJ, and we have Fox's Eben Brown on the phone with us. Thanks for calling in, Eben. Annie is off today. This is Ryan Wiggins.
Hi there. Good afternoon.
Thanks for calling in. So you're reporting here on the DOJ, and give us the lowdown of why this is happening or why this might be controversial. Anything about it?
Well, I'll tell you why it's interesting. It is not interesting that a already convicted defendant would have a meeting with a prosecutor about some kind of progress or new information about their case. That happens quite regularly, and it either pans out for them or it doesn't. What's interesting here is that Ghislaine Maxwell and her lawyer are not meeting with the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Florida or any of that person's assistant U.S. attorneys, the people who would be doing the actual prosecuting in a courtroom. She's meeting with the Deputy Attorney General of the United States, the second in command of the Department of Justice. They usually don't get involved at this level, right?
Which says this is a big deal, right?
Which says this is potentially a big deal. How it's a big deal, we don't know because everyone's tight-lipped. But let's consider this a bit further, and this is speculative, but hopefully not off the deep end, if Ghislaine Maxwell had information that could have led to either her exoneration or a lesser sentence, why not divulge that back when she was on trial? Jeffrey Epstein, her supposed life mate, was already dead by that point. She wasn't protecting anything other than maybe some kind of weird legacy, but, she wanted to go to prison for decades over that? I don't think so. So the question is maybe the U.S. government has something new, and they're obliged to share that because an attorney a defense attorney that is, would want to see if there could be a possibility of a retrial, or it could be something that could mean a successful appeal at the circuit court level, or a resentencing motion, or maybe a move towards commutation and pardon. So that's where things get a bit interesting. Of course, we don't know what they talked about. We do know that they spoke for almost 6 hours yesterday.
Oh, wow. 6 hours.
That's a long meeting. And they're meeting again today. So it's not over.
So, Eben, is there we all know that Trump is under a lot of pressure here because everybody's yelling about the Epstein stuff. And so this looks like, okay, fine, then let's get this thing going again. But has the DOJ or anybody in authority explicitly said this is why we're interviewing her now?
No, and I don't expect them to. The Justice Department, for any and all cases, from the Attorney General on down to the most junior assistant U.S. state attorney in a given district, has a policy of not talking to the media, letting a trial or any proceeding play out during a trial. And that's been policy for decades, if not centuries at this point. So I don't expect them to really say anything until they get into a court scenario where some of this has to be divulged to the court openly, as to whether or not it could be included in some kind of retrial or some sort of hearing, where this matter is re-adjudicated. So up until that point, we probably won't know what it is they're discussing. It also behooves the defense to keep their mouth shut as well, because these can get into intricate bargaining sessions where maybe a plea deal could be worked out instead of a new trial, right? So these are all the possibilities. But we don't know exactly what evidence, if it's evidence that they have, has come to light. We do know, as you mentioned, the president is getting a lot of pressure from his own base, the so-called MAGA, right? Because a lot of them have made the Epstein matter sort of a main cause for them, and understandably so. They want to see someone held responsible for the alleged trafficking of children. I think everyone who's decent would say we want to have a resolution to that, too. But I think that for many years, a lot of people had staked personal reputation on there being some kind of exhaustive list of clients or compatriots of Jeffrey Epstein who were overwhelmingly, let's just say, part of the Democratic Party elite and a Democratic Party fundraising elite. And they were hoping to expose them. That may or may not be the case. We don't know. But I think on the other side of things, Democrats who have struggled so long over a number of years, and very specifically since January 20th of this year, to find some weakness in Donald Trump, think that they may have found a chink in his armor, in that his supporters might be angry with him over the Epstein stuff. And now, only in the past couple of weeks have you seen Democratic Party action, especially among Capitol Hill Democrats, to pressure the administration to release the Epstein files. Prior to a couple of weeks ago, they have said nothing about this, or virtually nothing. So There we are.
Okay. Now, I keep reading, Eben, and just because Twitter says it doesn't mean it's true, which is why I'm asking you. But I keep reading that in the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell, that the prosecution and the law enforcement at the time never really interviewed her like this. Is that the case? Is there a possibility, I guess what I'm asking is, that we could find out something very new from her here?
Well, okay, anything is possible, right? remember that. Beyond that, I'm sure that at least one FBI agent had to talk to Ghislaine Maxwell at some point during her original prosecution. That had to happen. It could not have not happened, right? And if Ghislaine Maxwell has something new to talk about, again, I'll go back to my original question. Why didn't she bring it up years ago when it could have exonerated her or lessened the penalties she was going to face? Would that not have made sense? So again, now speculative, I think that maybe the U.S. government, the Justice Department, has found something, and they're bringing it to her attention as they are obliged to do. And maybe she has a memory that has been stirred by something that was not considered back then. And she's very willing to answer any and all questions. In fact, her attorney yesterday spoke with reporters outside the federal court in Tallahassee and said that Ghislaine Maxwell answered every question with enthusiasm, at no point refused to answer a question, at no point sought to invoke any kind of privilege or Fifth Amendment protections. So he was quite I guess the word again is enthused that there could be some progress for his client there.
Is there a possibility, Eben, that this could I'm asking you speculative questions, I understand, but that this could boomerang and she could come out and say, yeah, Trump was really not involved in any of the criminal activity that's put her in jail. And she spills the beans on lots of people that maybe the previous administration didn't even care to find out about.
Well, maybe. I mean, that's again, anything is possible, right? And I think there are a number of people who have sort of, again, staked their reputation on something like that actually happening. It's possible, but we don't know. And we're not going to know today. I'll tell you that.
When will we find out what's come of this?
When both sides are ready to take whatever it is to a judge and begin to resolve it, for the Justice Department to come forward with some new information, some new evidence, for the defense to make a motion saying this new evidence either exonerates Ghislaine Maxwell or it calls into question at least the sentence against her, that maybe it should be lessened. That's probably when we find that out, but that's not happening today or tomorrow.
Fox's Eben Brown on the phone with us. One of the reasons that this has been a little bit confusing to follow, unless you're, really locked in, is that right now, you said the DOJ is interviewing Ghislaine Maxwell, but I keep reading that the House is subpoenaing Ghislaine Maxwell also and others.
Yeah. She is facing a House subpoena, which I am under the impression her attorney says she will participate in. That date is August 11th. So not that far off.
Yeah,
I think it's at the 11th, somewhere in the middle part of August. So that's not that far off. August is next week, and what she might say in that forum, could be interesting. As far as I know, it's going to be open, but it may be closed. That's the Congress's prerogative to do that, especially if there's any possibility that some kind of compartmentalized, classified whatever could be discussed or revealed, right? So they have that obligation. So, again, I guess we'll see what happens when we get there.
Aside from Ghislaine Maxwell, I keep reading other names involved in these House subpoenas, specifically Bill and Hillary Clinton. Are they expected to testify in this case? I
haven't heard from their camp about what they will or will not do.
They haven't talked to you.
They haven't talked to me. I seem to remember in some other proceedings over the past few years that some other people close to President Trump refused to testify when subpoenaed by Congress, and the Democratic-controlled Congress referred those individuals for prosecution for contempt of Congress. And the Department of Justice proceeded with that. Steve Bannon is a name in that case. Would the Republican-controlled Congress do the same to someone in these matters that is subpoenaed and who fails to show up? I don't know. It's up to Congress.
Eben, last question for you on this topic, because we'll run up against the break here. But is this considered, now that the DOJ is getting involved and interviewing Ghislaine Maxwell, Is this them saying we're reopening this case, essentially? The Epstein files?
I don't know if they've used that terminology, but obviously they are looking into something that is new. They wouldn't send the Deputy Attorney General of the United States, the second in command of the Justice Department, out of his Washington office on a plane, I assume, down to Florida to meet with someone who they've already convicted and put away for decades, right? Yeah. She's facing, I think it's 20 years, right, or something like that. So, again, normally if there's some new matter in a case that has been previously resolved, it's the work of the local U.S. Attorney's Office to deal with it. Certainly not the second in command of the Justice Department.
Well, it seems like a big deal, but there's so many big deals happening simultaneously that it's really hard to follow.
There are.
So,
yes.
Fox News radio national correspondent Eben Brown, thank you so much for your time, and we'll just continue to talk to you about this as it goes.
You bet. No problem.
All right. Thank you. Hey, stick around because we're going to take a short break here, and if you are a Billy Joel fan, apparently he has made some random political comments, of which I did not know he was prone to do. Now you're probably asking yourself, are they right-leaning or left-leaning? I'm not going to tell you that yet. I'm going to read those to you when we come back, and you can decide.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Frey, and Mark Reardon, along with Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, August 5th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here are Bob and Tammy with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired? Do you have your personalized income plan in place? Would you like to learn why linking to the market is much safer than owning the market? And how in 39 years we have never lost a penny of our clients' money?
Would you like to learn how to automatically lock in your market gains every year without having to sell? Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any future losses? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, at the Frontenac Hilton, Tuesday, August 5th at 6:30. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Are you nearing retirement and don't know if you have enough money saved to retire? That is scary. Do you have a written retirement financial plan in place? Well, when it comes to retirement planning, the trusted team at Financial and Tax Architects are the best. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. And that's what you want. You want to retire with confidence. Now, they offer a one-night, 2.5-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. They hold these at colleges over the St. Louis area and in Illinois. No cost, no obligation, just learning. And at this class, you learn how to avoid costly mistakes, how to maximize your income, how to reduce taxes in retirement. So call them today, 314-888-5101, or visit fta-ria.com and take the first step toward a smarter retirement. 314-888-5101.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Well, we got a fun poll for you today, and we're giving you a chance to shape the show. Our poll is simply this. Should Ethan host the 2 o'clock hour? It's a simple yes or no. We want you to jump on that YouTube poll, give us as many votes as you can saying, yeah, we want to hear Ethan in the 2 o'clock hour hosting the show, or no, I don't want that bum on here. So jump on the YouTube poll, vote in the poll. The time is 12:34. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Speeding while driving gives you less time to react. Another car could turn out in front of you. A pedestrian could be walking their dog. Follow the speed limit to keep them safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Cutting through the spin. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Brad mentioned the poll there. The genesis of this thing, if you're curious as to why we would want or allow, if you don't want it, we won't do it, Ethan to host the 2 o'clock hour during the Mannie Frey show as Annie is out for the day, is that one day Ethan was in here and he talked about how afraid he would be to do a show. And we said, well, then you have to do the show. That was it.
Yeah, don't show weakness on this show.
Don't you dare, because we're going to make it happen. So it's up to you. That's the poll. Should Ethan host the 2 o'clock hour of this show? And if he does, I think some of us are hoping that it does not go that well because, some of us like hosting the show when Annie's out. And we would lose our jobs if that happened. Billy Joel. You a fan of Billy Joel?
Yeah, I like some Billy Joel.
I oddly have always considered myself not a fan of Billy Joel. But then anytime I hear a Billy Joel song, I'm like, it's a good song.
It's a good song. Yeah, he's a good songwriter.
I don't really dislike much of his music.
He's sort of a lost style in where he writes and plays his own songs.
Yeah. There's just a couple that I don't really love of Billy Joel's, but most of the time when I hear a song and I'm like, I like this, and it's Billy Joel, I'm like, yeah, but I don't like it.
Of course.
I like this song, but I don't
it's
like
a good
it.
song.
But it's the vast amount of songs.
Everybody else likes him, so I don't.
Exactly. But here, I'm going to read some of the comments that he was on Bill Maher's podcast. And it surprised me a little bit because when you hear what they're talking about, it would lead you down a certain road. So I'm going to read this, and you can read into it what you think. In the song, which they're talking about, is Angry Young Man, 1976 song. I don't necessarily know this. Maybe if I heard it, I would know it. Angry Young Man by Billy Joel. He says, quote, I believe I've passed the age of consciousness and righteous rage. I found that just surviving was a noble fight. I once believed in causes, too. I had my pointless point of view, and life went on no matter who was wrong or right. Now, when I hear that lyric, I don't think that sounds like it would enrage anyone.
Right.
In fact, that's kind of the point of the lyric, is that it's like, everybody's kind of doing the same thing, and I'm not really sure which way to go, so maybe I just don't go anywhere, is the point of that lyric. But apparently that is a lightning rod of a Billy Joel lyric that has enraged one side. I won't tell you which one, because I'll get to those comments in a minute. But then the HBO host, Bill Maher, brought up Billy Joel's Vietnam War era song, Goodnight Saigon, and its lyrics, quote, and who was wrong and who was right? It didn't matter in the thick of the fight. Does that sound like it would be right-leaning or left-leaning to you?
That maybe has, I don't know. I would say left because that's kind of more of the hippie side of things.
That's what I would have thought. That sounds more like, well, you're not going to take a side in the Vietnam War.
It's still kind of benign, though, because he's like saying it's really hard to tell what the truth is in the midst of the fog of war.
That's the way I interpret it, too. But if you were going to have to assign a political side to it, I would think that would lean left.
Slightly.
Well, apparently, and then Bill Maher goes on and asks, do you still feel that way? And Billy Joel says yes. And you don't care what they say about you, Bill Maher says. The woke. At this point, no. apparently this has become, and I'm not saying if you're left, like this has become this isn't your fight, but online there's a little bit of a dust up over some of Billy Joel's old lyrics being conservative. And that's what they're citing as like not getting involved in the fight, because both of those lyrics are saying, I've just sort of stepped out of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense that the left would be mad about that.
And Billy Joel is saying at this point, no, I don't get why the woke is so mad about this. It's difficult in this day and age. He says, I really try to find the other point of view. What's not my point of view? What's somebody else's? Okay, I'd like to understand why they think that way. That used to be, I would say that would be sort of left-leaning. But nowadays, apparently, that's conservative? I don't really know. But the point of the article is, as Fox News reports here, that legendary musician Billy Joel told Bill Maher that he doesn't care if the far left complains about his statements or music anymore. At this point, I'm inured to it, Billy Joel said in reply to Bill Maher asking if he doesn't care if woke people criticize him any longer. I got to tell you, this story just confuses me. I mean, I really don't understand.
It doesn't. I'll tell you what I understand from the woke left is you have to take a stand, and not taking a stand is taking a stand for the other side. It's like in their brain, they're looking at you saying, well, you're just afraid to admit that you're actually for the other side, because this one is so obviously true that we're right on this, that if you're not going to tell us that we're right, then we know that you're not with us.
Yeah, you can't stay out of the fight.
Right.
You have to be on our side, or you are against us.
Right. That is a core tenet of the woke left. It might actually be a core tenet of the woke right, too.
But to dig up old Billy Joel lyrics?
Yeah, this is the bizarre thing. This is why I know that this is also a left thing. We like to go through your history and see where you were so we can figure out where you stand, because you go back to that core tenet. We need to know where you stand, because if you're not with us, you're against us.
Apparently.
And so they would go back in something that has no application to whatever modern struggle these people think that they're fighting against. And they would try to make something that happened in the, 70s?
In the 70s, these are all 70s quotes.
2025. It's dumb. It's what they do, though.
Bill Maher went on and said that he agreed that how mad leftists get when people don't declare that Trump is the worst. So he's saying exactly what you're saying, that this is now Bill Maher, who, of course, is traditionally a leftist. But are we in an age now where the left, and I'm not talking about the left like Bill Maher might be, because he would not consider himself conservative at all, but he would be a traditional liberal. Apparently Billy Joel sounds like he might be cut from that cloth. Are we now in a place where the far left are they still running the party? Because you have a lot of voices like this that are coming out and saying this is ridiculous, but it still appears to me like the politicians of Democrats, the ones that get all the attention anyway, and the ones that are getting the money and all of the attention for, hey, maybe you're a candidate, they're all these really far left people still.
Yeah, I would say that they still have an unbalanced sway over the politicians. The politicians are still somewhat afraid of the left. I mean, I think Elise Slotkin from Michigan came out and said that the other day. She's like, there's too many people in our party that are afraid of what's going to happen with the woke people on Twitter. They're going to raise a stink and they're going to get attacked, and they're afraid of that. The woke left has run based on fear. But as we're coming out of cancel culture, as we're coming out of this where people are just going, you know what? I don't care what you think anymore. And you're starting to see that in pop culture. You're starting to see that with like people like Bill Maher and Billy Joel. We don't care what you think about us. As that becomes more mainstream, I think you'll see the politicians kind of shift to that too. It's like, oh, you are just a loud, angry dog with no teeth.
Yeah, but nobody on the left who's trying to rise to prominence right now has been able to figure out how to do that. Gavin Newsom's the best example.
Yeah,
he can't figure it out.
No, and it's a movement that is still gaining traction, but it's not there. I mean, it's in the infancies. It happened on the right already. It's like, you're going to cancel us no matter what we say, so we don't care what you think. And we've been walking around like that for a decade. They are now finding out maybe there's something to this. These people are a little bit crazy and unhinged, and we don't want to go that because it's costing us elections. Eventually they'll get there, but it's going to be 5-10 years.
It might take a while, and I tell you what is underreported is the fact that the Trump administration, and this is now being put through Congress slowly, but it's happening, they're cutting off the money that's coming through the government. And the government was funding a lot of this.
Yes.
That's terrible, but true. That the government itself was using your money to fund a lot of these far left organizations. They were NGOs. We've talked about it many times. But, this was right at the beginning of the Trump administration. We were really seeing, USAID and all these things like, wow, this is crazy. We never really thought this could be that bad. And we said at the time, they're going to cut the head off of those snakes. But that doesn't mean the snake stops writhing immediately. It will take some time, but eventually they will start to run out of some of that money. How long will that take? I mean, we're 6 months in now. Are we starting to see that? Because I don't think we are yet. This is still a couple of months ago, but the minute ICE started to really move into California, man, people went nuts, and you saw lots of organizations getting involved, and there were people that could name the organization based on the people that show up at these protests. They were all very well paid. But those people are not necessarily going to be paid for much longer, if not already cut off. So I just wonder, by the time we get to midterms, what does the Democrat Party look like? Is it still run by all that really far left commie money that was coming through you? Or has it dried up by then to where some of these middle ground Democrats do gain a little more traction? I don't know the answer to that. And I guess it remains to be seen. I will tell you this, as a person who watches elections and polls and numbers, it makes it really tough to predict things because there's so many factors in it that you just don't know. And so it's a wait and see. We don't have to predict anything now. Obviously, we still have over a year before the midterms, but it is very interesting to watch. And the polling is all over the place right now. Very difficult to predict what's happening because Trump has taken a hit from the Epstein stuff, so his approval rating's lower, but it's from MAGA. And MAGA's not leaving him.
No.
They just don't like that issue.
They're mad about that.
They're mad about that one issue. And then Democrats are polling lower than ever. So it's not as if they've gained any ground either. I don't know. Let's take a short break. We're going to come back with a version of Wiggins America. It is the Bee or Not the Bee next on the Mannie Frey Show.
Mark Cox doesn't fake it. He's lived it here in St. Louis. Pro-freedom, pro-family, pro-truth. If it matters to Missouri, it matters to Mark. Mark Cox, mornings on 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis conservative.
This year, fuel prices have been a bit of a roller coaster. Here in St. Louis, drivers finally have some relief at the pump. But when it comes to groceries and food, it's still pretty bumpy out there. Well, you know what can make your ride smoother? The Upside app. With Upside, you can earn an average 8% cash back on grocery or restaurant purchases and up to 25 cents per gallon on gas, which means there's money to be earned even when fuel prices are low. There are hundreds of nearby locations like Schnucks, Burger King, Arby's, and Taco Bell. Download the app and see why millions of Upside users have racked up almost $1 billion in cash back earned. For a limited time, get a 10% bonus on your first purchase with promo code STL11. That's promo code STL11 for an extra 10% cash back bonus. With Upside, you can roll up to a nearby grocery store, restaurant, or gas station and coast straight to cashback earnings. Don't forget to use promo code STL11. Upside. Cashback smarter. Offers vary by user and location. Terms and conditions apply. Go to upside.com for details.
Hats off to family fun on Sunday, July 27th, when the Birds host the Padres. That day, 20,000 fans, 16 and older, will get a City Connect row pad courtesy of Quick Trip. And thanks to Haichu, 10,000 kids ages 15 and under will take home a Cardinals hat with custom charms. Upgrade your and your kiddos' game gear. Snag your tickets today at cardinals.com/promotion.
This is Alec Burleson, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Summer in St. Louis means one thing: Cardinals baseball. It's more than a game. It's an STL tradition. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, the boom of the fireworks. It's the soundtrack to summer for Cardinals Nation. So grab your cap and glove and take your spot in the stands. Because in St. Louis, baseball is more than a melody, it's our favorite song.
If it's time for new windows, there's only one place to call. That is Window World. Mark Cox here. Call my friends at Window World at 314-993-1800 for your free estimate today. If you have any questions, they'll be glad to send someone out to explain all of it to you. You can even schedule right online at windowworldstl.com. You know, there's a lot of high-interest financing out there, but here's what Window World's doing. Right now, they're offering 18 up to 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. You can't beat that. You also get a lifetime warranty that covers all of the parts, the glass breakage, and labor. Who else stands behind their product like that? Over half the appointments Window World will set this year are from previous customers or referrals from those customers. That is a testimony to their customer service, their quality, and their commitment to creating loyal customers. That's what you get with Window World. Call them at 314-993-1800, windowworldstl.com.
Rooted in faith, grounded in family. We're back with more truth. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Guess who just got back today? Them wild-eyed boys.
Well, beer. Yeah,
That's
there we go.
not
There we
right.
go.
The Bee or Not the Bee.
And there it is, the bee or not the bee. Ethan's here. Ethan could be hosting the 2 o'clock hour of this show. How do you feel about that?
If you like me, vote no. If you like the show, vote no.
No, I think we're all looking for something that really embarrasses you.
You're looking to get out of work in the 2 o'clock hour.
I mean, that's
but
not-
really, you're just making more work for yourself.
I don't know. Am I?
I think so.
How? Because if you fall flat, then I got to pick it up?
Yeah.
I guess that's true, but then at least you fill up a little time. I still got the same stuff.
And you're the one that's going to have to figure out how to pick up all the pieces.
This is the bee or not the bee. I'm going to read you headlines, and you can tell me whether they are fake from the Babylon Bee or whether they are real. First one, Biden excited to see what AutoPen comes up with for his memoir.
That's a B.
That's the B.
That's the B. Quote, that AutoPen and I go way back, Fat, Biden said. It's always coming up with something creative. I'm on the edge of my seat with on the it'll be something. Pardon Me, the Joe Biden story is slated for release in the fall of 2025. That's not the real name of the book, by the way.
Always love their writing when their writing is Joe Biden.
The book is called Pardon Me. All right. Following the death of Ozzy Osbourne, England overrun with millions of bats.
Real.
Yeah, I'm going to say this is a real story.
Ha, tricked you. It's fake. It's from the Babylon Bee. According to Natural England, Ozzy Osbourne is the only known natural predator of bats. And if they don't do something quickly, the bat population may explode across the entire globe. Quote, bats can fly and Ozzy is dead, warned zoologist David Mancroft. You do the math. In London, bats reportedly crept in unnoticed through the tube system before exploding onto the surface at dusk, where they proceeded to take over Parliament and all major bridges. Few Londoners escaped without a bat flying into their hair or burqa, causing quite a scare.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Right
Shots
there,
fired
kid.
across the bow right there. All right, next one. Superintendent candidate rejected over using the word ladies.
This is a real story.
This is a real story.
That's crazy.
A federal judge has dismissed a lawsuit filed by a former candidate for East Hampton Superintendent of Schools whose job offer was rescinded in 2023 after he referred to the school committee chair and an administrative assistant as ladies in an email. Following 2 interviews, the school committee, this is the story of how this happened. School committee voted 4-3 in their March 23 meeting to offer the position to this guy, Perone is his last name, who had been the principal of East Hampton High School. 5 days later, a woman named Kwiesenski announced in another school committee meeting that Perone would begin work in July of 2023. Perone had requested a few things in his contract and in the email referred to the people he was talking to as ladies and they said that was insulting and then rejected the job offer.
That's wild.
Unbelievable. She should have referred to them as ma'ams.
You know what, though? If I got rejected by a job for using ladies like that, and they said it was offensive, I would count that as a blessing.
You know what, though? He was already working in the school district, so it's not like he was applying to come into this and went, whoa, I dodged a bullet there. He was already there.
Yeah,
he was just looking for a promotion.
Like, let me rethink my position in life here.
What is the alternative? What do you address?
I don't know.
Women in the plural to start an email.
You know what's crazy is that if he would have said, hey, guys, like people do, that probably would have been okay.
Yeah.
Misgendering them in that sense. Because what else do you say?
It's improper.
What else?
It
What
is
do you say?
literally improper.
Hey all. I mean, I guess.
Hello.
But to have to think the eggshells you're having to walk on in society, and this was 2023, so this is different. I think it's changed.
Yeah,
I really do.
It totally has.
But the amount of thought you have to put into just basic conversation is exhausting.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the reasons that Donald Trump won the presidency.
Your Highnesses.
People were like, get over this crap.
Hello, my princesses. Hello, my queens.
Oh, I'm flattered. I like this guy. All right, the resistance upset as government gets smaller.
This is the B.
Yeah, this is the B. We are the resistance. We will stand against Trump's government that he's making smaller, said one angry masked person. Trump is a fascist who wants to destroy this country and control every facet of our lives like we're living in the Handmaid's Tale. That's why he's reducing the size and scope of our government. Other members of the movement remain steadfast that they would punish or push back against any attempts by the government to get smaller and less intrusive in the lives of everyday Americans. Last one, real quick. Police arrest Chuck E. Cheese.
It's real.
This is real. I've seen this.
I knew you guys had seen it.
This is amazing.
Yeah, a worker dressed in a Chuck E. Cheese costume at the kid-friendly pizza franchise in Tallahassee, Florida, was taken to custody Wednesday on larceny charges. Apparently he was stealing. I don't know if he was stealing at the job or somewhere else, but the officer said, quote, I grabbed his right arm while giving the verbal instruction, Chucky, come with me, Chucky. That's what the officer said.
They perp walked him out with the Chucky mask still on.
They let him stay in the
They had him
costume.
behind. Yeah, they had him behind the car with the comically large Chuck E. Cheese gloves.
All right,
on.
short break. We'll be right back with the Mannie Frey Show.
If you've been looking to even out that concrete in your driveway, your sidewalk, maybe your walkway, or garage floors, patios, and pool decks, you can call Home Shield Foundation Repair at 314-227-9636. That's 314-227-9636. Home Shield Foundation Repair is a family-owned company. Matt Hayes, the owner, will come and inspect to determine if the property repair is even needed. If it is needed, he can give you a recommendation and an idea on what you're looking at. You don't have to invest or put anything down at all to have Matt come out and check out the job. He will give you an honest assessment. He's a great guy, and this family-owned and operated business has worked very hard to earn the trust of St. Louis folks on both sides of the river for some time now. 314-227-9636. That's the number to call Home Shield Foundation Repair. 314-227-9636. They offer concrete lifting, an advanced, cost-effective solution to raise and level your concrete with minimal disruption. Find them online at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Let me tell you one of the reasons I think we became the largest injury firm in the world, and it's not even close. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My wife and I had a plan early on. In our firm, our lawyers only work on certain types of cases. Our products liability and dangerous drug lawyers only work on those cases. Same for car crashes, workers' compensation, medical malpractice, and insurance disputes. Our thinking is for these lawyers to focus on one area of the law and live it and breathe it. Power comes from knowledge. Many lawyers do everything, jack of all trades. Not us, and we don't charge an hourly rate. You only pay us if we win. If you want to hire us, it's easy. Dial Pound Law on your cell phone, pound 529, or visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer from the comfort of your own home. Let us get to work for you. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
A second day of questioning for Ghislaine Maxwell. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The woman convicted of helping Jeffrey Epstein to sex traffic and abuse underage girls, meeting again at a federal courthouse in Florida with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. Maxwell's attorney, David Marcus, telling reporters today.
She answered those questions honestly, truthfully, to the best of her ability. She never invoked a privilege. She never refused to answer a question. So we're very proud of her. We're proud of how the process has worked over the past day and a half.
Maxwell is serving a 20-year sentence at a prison near the Tallahassee courthouse where the meeting was held. Some members of Congress still pushing for all of the Epstein files to be released. President Trump telling reporters earlier he has nothing to do with Epstein after breaking off a friendship with him years ago. Also getting questions about a possible pardon for Maxwell.
It's something I haven't thought about.
He spoke just before heading to Scotland. Some high-profile Democrats are stopping by a D.C. summit focused on young voters.
Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told the Gen Z Voters for Tomorrow summit, don't agonize, organize.
You have an enormous responsibility. How the future looks is in your hand.
She told them in prior midterms when Democrats won, it was because they came up with their plan the year before.
We have no doubt that we will win the election, the House of Representatives, in the next election.
She said President Trump's poll numbers are not good, that voters don't support tax cuts for wealthier Americans, and that they must fight what she called shareholder capitalism, in which she said CEOs make hundreds times more than their employees.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Reassurance from Qatar and Egypt that Gaza ceasefire talks could continue. The mediators say they remain committed to the effort after the U.S. and Israel left talks early, accusing Hamas of not wanting a deal. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Hot and humid through the afternoon. Partly sunny skies, though we are watching some scattered thunderstorms around the area as we go through the afternoon. 95 for the high. Tonight, scattered evening thunderstorms out of here very quickly. The atmosphere just goes flat. It's warm and humid, 77 Saturday and Sunday. Partly sunny, hot and humid. Nothing more than a spot afternoon storm each day. Mid to upper 90s. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Oh, yeah, it is the moment you have been waiting for.
Don't get me wrong. I love
the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom.
Annie's out. Ryan and Brad are in.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
This is the Mannie Frey Show.
Do you get excited when you hear the Mannie Frey Show open? I do, and I was talking to some people at the Paul Nicolucci fundraiser for Madison County Board last night, and you also told me that you really like the Mannie Frey Show. You told me you like the Annie Frey Show a lot too, but you were talking to me, so I think that you just said the Mannie Frey Show because I was in the room and Annie wasn't there. I'm not sure, but we really enjoy doing the Mannie Frey Show. This is the second hour, of course, and the poll today is about Ethan, whose camera is still on but is not in the room. He's walked out. Do you want Ethan to host the 2 o'clock hour? The reason that we're asking you this question is because about 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was brought up that Ethan should just host a show sometime. And he said he would be scared to death to do that. And we said we should do it. We should do that then.
Yeah.
But you have to tell us whether or not we should.
Help him get over his fears.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the results of the poll, but I have a feeling it's going to be a blowout, and he's going to have to do the 2 o'clock hour. So stick around for that. It's 1:05 right now. And it is time for What Did I Miss?
What did I miss?
What did I miss?
All right, so I have a couple clips from the past week here for you guys to listen to. I say you guys on the air, and Ryan here in the studio. Ryan, did you get to listen to any of the Hunter Biden interview?
Some of it.
Some of it. So I have a couple clips here, and these are the ones where he wasn't dropping F-bombs consistently.
Yeah, it'd be tough on you.
Yeah, and some of these are like not really pertaining to much of anything, but still made me laugh.
Okay.
So this first one here, well, I'll just let him talk for himself.
You act any differently? No. Is it safer than alcohol? Probably. People think of crack as being dirty. It's the exact opposite. When you make crack, what you're doing is you're burning off all the impurities so that it combines with the sodium bicarbonate, which makes it smokable. That's all.
So,
was the interviewer asking about crack?
I have no idea. I've only seen his answer or him just talking about it. I mean, it felt like whenever I would watch the interview, he would just go.
Yeah, that's what I saw too, is because I've watched it in clips like most people do now. I watched a lot of clips of this, but I don't know. It's like watching a movie in reverse order, and you don't really know, did I watch the whole movie, or what's the plot here?
It's like
was
Pulp
the point?
Fiction. I don't know.
I saw him ripping Democrats in
Oh,
it
yeah, he went
and
out on them.
hating George Clooney. Man, did he hate George Clooney.
Yeah. Well, he hates George Clooney because of what George Clooney said about his dad. He did not like that. He didn't want that. But that clip was him saying that crack is actually better than alcohol.
Is that the point?
Yeah.
How does that come up?
He's like, it's cleaner. It's better. Because when you think Hunter Biden, what's the next thing you think?
Him in his underwear with sunglasses on.
Smoking a crack pipe.
Yeah, pretty much.
So here's another clip from him from that same interview. And this time he gets into about his
My
laptop.
question to anybody that is keeping an open mind is, what is it that you think the laptop proves, or what you call the laptop? So everybody has a laptop. So when they say Hunter Biden's laptop, what is it that they're talking about? Do you know?
Well, I know that your entire iCloud was connected to it, all of your personal text messages, private photos, all that kind of stuff.
Like everybody's laptop.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you left it with a repair shop owner, particularly I think the New York Post was involved in the spearheading of this mass dissemination of your private materials. From what it seemed like, it was a lot of private text between you and your friends, family. Your entire sort of private life was on there.
Yeah. And again, so everybody has a laptop. Everybody has a cloud.
I'm assuming not.
No. Not everybody has a laptop. Everybody has a digital life. Almost everybody has a digital life. Everybody has a digital life, pretty much. And that includes voicemails and pictures and text messages and emails and location data and, everything. Everybody, you do. Everybody that is here right now. By whatever means, they got my digital footprint going back decades.
So he kind of dismisses the whole laptop story because he's like, all they have is my digital footprint. And then the interviewer, I think, misses the point too. They like to sit on this laptop story, and this is what you hear from people on the left. What does it matter what Hunter Biden did? What reflection does that have on Joe Biden? The picture of Hunter Biden in his underwear smoking a crack pipe, all the nasty, gross stuff, all the stuff that he got up to that was on that laptop was not the point of the laptop. That's not what's condemning about the laptop. What is condemning is the text messages and the emails with his family members about the business dealings that he had with Joe Biden, what his job was. And essentially, Hunter Biden's job for Joe Biden was to travel around the world picking up gigantic sacks of cash for the Biden family. That's all he did. He went there, he picked up the sacks of cash, and he came home, and then Joe Biden then would adjust his policy to benefit whoever paid them the most money.
His defense in that clip wasn't even that good.
No.
It was just, look, everybody has a laptop. What are you going to condemn me for having a laptop? You probably have a laptop. Does that make you guilty?
The dude got high and left it at a repair shop.
Yeah, he won't admit that, but that was true. This is I haven't heard this clip.
What's
this
kind
is a mess.
What's kind of interesting about this though is he's saying, "What was that laptop? It was my digital footprint." What is he saying there? It's true.
He's saying it's his.
It's his. It's true. All of it's true.
And a lot of what we found through the information in that laptop is that he was taking foreign bribes. They might have been sort of hidden and made semi-legal because he was on the board of something.
Right.
Like, oh, well, that's just your salary for never coming in. But he was accepting lots of foreign money and then funneling that money to the big guy.
Yeah, the big guy.
I mean, that's what we found. Yeah. And all these crazy companies, just moving money through all these companies constantly so it's untraceable, going to the president of the United States. That's a real easy thing if you're sitting with Hunter Biden to press him on.
Yes.
Who's this interviewer? He didn't do anything.
I don't know. I just know the YouTube channel is called Channel 5.
Well, and that's the thing is that it's hard to say, oh, this interviewer is crappy, because he probably was crappy on purpose, and that's why Hunter agreed to do it with him.
Yeah, I don't get to say
ask me really light questions so I can say that, look, everybody has a laptop. Are we condemning laptop ownership now? Because that's what it sounds like to me, and you probably a hypocrite for having a laptop yourself. I think that everybody needs to take a step back and look in the mirror about their own laptops.
The real friends were the laptops that we made along the way.
Right.
So anyway, there's that one. And then Jeff Daniels popped in, and he was waxing poetically about Kamala Harris.
I still think about Kamala and how I think she would have been a good choice. I don't care what they say, because she would have done what Lincoln did. Liz Cheney would have been Secretary of State.
Team of Rivals.
Yeah, Team of Rivals. Doris Kearns Goodwin wrote the book about it. That's what Lincoln did. Surrounded himself with the people who would disagree with him, not the people who would, take a knee and go, yeah, more tariffs, sir, more. It's the madness of King George. And just the deterioration of the Republican Party. I mean, look, I'm just an actor. What do I know? But when Mitch started stacking the courts 25 years ago, I said it on your show once. They can see it coming. The new America that is diverse and treats everyone with equality and respect and dignity, kind of like Jesus did. We're ready for that. And Mitch and company could see it coming. They were going to be the minority. So they just started, and then here we are. And now you got it.
Remember when he had diarrhea?
No.
And he was kicking his feet in the air in that ski resort, just screaming. That's what I think of when I think of Jeff Daniels.
The most important line in that whole sound clip is theirs. I'm just an actor. What do I know? He was saying it sarcastically, but he was more accurate than he. Remember when Abraham Lincoln made Liz Cheney his Secretary of State? Well, and then he's like, he surrounded himself with people that would tell him no. Yes, Abraham Lincoln did that. But I remember watching interviews with Liz Cheney and Kamala Harris, and Liz Cheney wasn't exactly like, I'm going to challenge you on these things. Nobody challenged Kamala throughout her entire interview until she would.
No, she would just fire him.
Until she interviewed with Brett Baer, and Brett Baer challenged her, and then she left early.
Well, her whole inner circle was constantly changing because they hated her so bad. So anybody that would disagree with her or dislike her at all would just leave quickly. And the other random thing there is that if he's saying that he wants a president who hires people from the opposite party, I mean, that's literally what Trump has done.
Yes.
Tulsi Gabbard and RFK are historically, at least, Democrats. May have switched their allegiance very recently.
Tulsi Gabbard ran for president as a Democrat.
Yeah, well, and RFK ran as an independent and would have tried to be a Democrat if they would have let him. The way you introduced that clip was funny, though, because I thought when you said it that Jeff Daniels was there with Hunter Biden.
No, I wish.
I wish, too.
That would have made for a great interview. I got one more clip here, and this is Ron DeSantis talking about some of the complaints he's receiving from the inmates at Alligator Alcatraz.
So they're making these claims, and they're saying, oh, they're not fed well. Well, first of all, they're fed the same that the staff is fed. You know, you go to like and it's not a prison, it's a deportation processing center, so it is different. But like in Florida prisons, do you think the prisoners get the same meals as the guards? No, of course not. It's different. Everyone's the same there, and they were mad that the ham sandwiches weren't toasted. Excuse me? I mean, give me a break. So DHS, required there to be certain things. I know the legal was a part of that. There is recreation. People say there's not, and there is. People will show.
So the liberals really hate this Alligator Alcatraz, but if the complaint that you can come up with is they're not toasting the ham sandwiches, it tells me that what the Biden administration was doing with these illegal immigrants whenever they were putting them up in the 5-star hotels and all that other stuff was treating them like kings. And now they're being treated like people who are here illegally and they're going home. And I just read that I think the first couple flights out of Alligator Alcatraz to deport these people back home have started taking off, I think either today or tomorrow. Something
as far as I understand it, too, when ICE detains somebody, they give them the option of deportation. So anybody who's going to Alligator Alcatraz or any other facility is choosing to not go back to their country, is choosing to go there, as far as I understand it. Also, when Jeff Daniels had diarrhea really bad, it's probably the most famous moment of his career, and he has had to combat that over and over and over. And it's funny because did you ever see the second Dumb and Dumber? Not the one where they were younger and it wasn't.
Yeah, I know which
but
one you're
the
talking
second
about.
one that was made probably in 2014-ish.
Yeah.
I really liked that movie.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people hated it, but the whole movie opens with you finding out what they've been doing in the last 20 years since the first one was made. And apparently they just said that Jim Carrey's character, Lloyd, Harry, I can't remember which one is which, was in a coma or like a catatonic state for the last 20 years. And he has a big, long beard, and he's got like a colostomy bag, and he's just sitting there like at a home. And Jeff Daniels has been visiting him every day for 20 years because of the issue that they had 20 years ago. I don't think they define how he got into that state. And then all of a sudden, Jim Carrey starts to speak, and you're like, ooh, like he's finally saying something after 20 years. And Jeff Daniels leans in, and Jim Carrey goes, gotcha. The whole thing, like the 20 years in a coma, was a prank. And that's the way the movie starts. And it's great. But I say that because apparently Jeff Daniels had just won an Emmy when they started filming that. And he wanted to be treated with dignity and respect so badly. And the whole staff and the whole crew knew it. So they had like a ceremony for him, and they all said, oh, it's amazing, you're such a great actor, and you're such a great actor that you're able to do comedy again. He was like, oh gosh, you guys, unbelievable, but thank you for the acknowledgement. I'll step back into this role now.
What a jerk.
I've never forgotten that, because when I saw that, I'm like, that's who Jeff Daniels is. He craves respect so bad because he's known for the diarrhea scene.
What do I know? I'm just an actor.
All right, we'll be right back.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid residents in need of care at home. If you need assistance with daily activities, you can receive in-home care from a loved one that lives with you and they get paid. Through Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care at home in St. Louis, and they get paid weekly. Available to eligible Medicaid members in St. Louis. Call now to check your eligibility. It can be your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid. Freedom Care has over 7,000 5-star Google reviews and is a leading choice in St. Louis for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want to receive great care from a loved one, go to freedomcare.com, or for faster service, call 314-597-1749. 314-597-1749. That's 314-597-1749.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
Hi, Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service. If your trees are looking sick or if you have insects that aren't welcome in your landscape, Hansen's can help. Our plant healthcare program offers tree and shrub fertilization as well as pest management to maintain a great-looking landscape. Check us out at hansenstree.com.
This year, fuel prices have been a bit of a roller coaster. Here in St. Louis, drivers finally have some relief at the pump. But when it comes to groceries and food, it's still pretty bumpy out there. Well, you know what can make your ride smoother? The Upside app. With Upside, you can earn an average 8% cash back on grocery or restaurant purchases and up to 25 cents per gallon on gas, which means there's money to be earned even when fuel prices are low. There are hundreds of nearby locations like Schnucks, Burger King, Arby's, and Taco Bell. Download the app and see why millions of Upside users have racked up almost $1 billion in cash back earned. For a limited time, get a 10% bonus on your first purchase with promo code STL11. That's promo code STL11 for an extra 10% cash back bonus. With Upside, you can roll up to a nearby grocery store, restaurant, or gas station and coast straight to cashback earnings. Don't forget to use promo code STL11. Upside. Cashback smarter. Offers vary by user and location. Terms and conditions apply. Go to upside.com for details.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25-plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, igotfloor.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Speeding while driving gives you less time to react. Another car could turn out in front of you. A pedestrian could be walking their dog. Follow the speed limit to keep them safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Annie Frey, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Range. It's the Annie Frey Show.
I just saw recently, and I still don't know if this is true, that Blur wrote that song as a parody of "Smells Like Teen Spirit." They were joking like, "Oh, if we just do this riff and then just yelled woohoo, it'd be a great song because that riff is so good that they were kind of joking, and that's what the song is."
And they ended up making a hit.
And apparently, also the same guy from Blur, although it's not Blur, same singer, when he was in the Gorillaz, the famous song that he's got that's like,
I didn't know that.
Wait, you didn't know what?
I didn't know that the singer from Blur was in Gorillaz.
Yeah, it's the same guy. It's not the full band, but it's the same singer.
Right.
That the famous song that goes, ooh, 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 I'm happy, feeling glad. That song was just a preset on a keyboard.
This.
You've seen that one.
Yes, he's like, oh, here's this.
So Blur, the biggest songs that guy has made were basically just jokes. And he plays it in the clip, so he can prove it. He's like, look, it's a little Casio keyboard. He hits the button, and it's just a preset. It's crazy.
It's wild.
But I'd never heard that about song 2. That's that song.
I could hear it. I don't know if it's true, but it sounds like it could be.
Yeah, I saw somebody playing it and saying that was the origin of that song. Real quick, back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. Is the Powell stuff interesting to you? It is to me. And part of it is because of mortgage interest rates and all that stuff. And I just don't know if that's like great radio or not. It's definitely newsworthy. It's the kind of stuff that, like last week or the week before, it might have been the end of last week, Trump and Republicans in Congress and Democrats in Congress all signed Bitcoin legislation.
Mm-hmm.
And
the Genius Act, I think.
And that's the kind of thing that is a big deal, but what do you say? You go, it was passed. I mean, you could report on it.
Right.
But there's not really a lot of commentary, but it's the kind of thing that in 5 years you go, oh, that was a big deal, but nobody really remembers it because we didn't talk about it that much.
The reason that we don't talk about it too much is like we still don't, I'm saying myself, but we as a people larger still don't quite understand cryptocurrency. We don't understand what it is. I know that there's like a what are they called? The central digital currency or whatever that people are afraid of.
Even that is above my pay grade.
So the idea of that is that they would do away with paper money. All currency would be digital, and that it would be one currency. So like Europe has the euro, the whole world would have this singular digital currency. The fear is that now you've got the world's money supply in one place, and if it's in one place, one person can control it or one entity can control it. And the scary thing is that if you don't toe the line, they can then cut you off. And we've kind of seen that, in other areas with debanking and stuff like that, or social credit scores in China. If you don't have the correct social credit score, you can't buy this item, and you can't do it on the black market because there's no such thing as cash. Now, my opinion is that there will always be a market that cannot be controlled. When people need something and other people need something and they've been pushed to the outside, they will create their own economy and there will be a black market. That's why black markets exist. And they'll be able to go and circumvent this, but it will be at risk of personal harm, jail, stuff like that. So I like the idea of getting away from a central digital currency. Convenience is not worth my freedom. Does that make sense?
Yeah. At some point, you're going to have a barcode on your head to buy anything.
Don't want it.
And,
or a microchip.
Let's just try to delay that as long as
whatever.
possible. But yeah, that legislation was kind of a big deal, and I just didn't really know how to even approach it. I mean, I do understand crypto, I think, probably a little bit better than the average person, just because I read a whole book about the origin of crypto and Bitcoin. It is really interesting. It's just an interesting story. But that legislation is, I mean, here we are talking about it without actually talking about it, but it's one of the few areas where Congress will come together on something. And you know what the central point, anytime you see Democrats and Republicans come together on something, you know what's almost always at the center of it? China.
Yep.
It's still, the threat of China still brings the United States together in a way that other threats don't. Because the threat of Russia is definitely not bringing Congress together.
It's always like that.
The threat of Iran, people fight about this stuff like crazy.
Well, that's because Russia and Iran, while they pose a threat, they don't really pose the same kind of threat that a China would. And that's why we recognize that, we do like the United States. This is something that I think that even the leftists on our chat would agree. We like the United States. We think that we're a great country. We love this country, and we don't want to see somebody come over and take us over. We don't want to see ourselves knocked off the pedestal. I really don't think that there's a lot of people on the left that actually want that. There might be a fringe out there that think, oh, no, we need to be taken down a peg or two, and it's self-loathing or whatever. But whenever you're faced with a great threat, that's whenever whatever bickering you have gets put aside. Russia isn't going to do that to us. Iran isn't going to do that to us. China is the only real credible threat to the United States superpower status. They're the only one. So that's why you see people come together on that.
Is the Powell-Trump feud interesting? Yes. Is the country lowering interest rates important? Yes. Is it good radio? I don't know. Here's Trump talking about it with Powell, or on Powell.
Would you consider a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell if she's
It's something I haven't thought about. It's really something.
Recommended it.
It's something I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about.
But you wouldn't rule it out, sir.
Yeah, for some reason, it's not playing the right clip. But
wrong clip.
Yeah, but he said in his meeting with Powell that they talked privately, and that Powell thinks the country is doing well. And Trump took that as, well, then he's going to start lowering interest rates soon, which would be the purpose of the meeting. The one thing that I wanted to get to on that topic that I thought, again, is this like too deep? I don't know. But Scott Bessent, up until that meeting, which was yesterday, like all week and even last week, was doing the rounds on the Fed, which he's the Treasury Secretary. That's the kind of stuff he's supposed to talk about. And he's talking about the Japan deal now too a lot, which is also a big deal.
Yeah.
But what he was saying, Scott Bessent, about the Fed has really gone unnoticed. He said, here's the headline, we need to reconsider the entire institution of the Federal Reserve. That's big news.
Yeah.
And the reason I bring that up in this context is because That's the kind of news that if they were actually to do something, even if it's minor, even if it's not like abolishing the Fed entirely, but if they were to make some policy changes that affected it, it's the kind of news that doesn't get reported a lot, but that affects everything.
Yeah.
And the Bitcoin thing is that to me.
Yeah.
That's the kind of news that in a couple years, people are going to refer back to that Genius Act and go, oh man, that was a landmark move right there that changed the game.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of stuff is that stuff. I was reading not just the transcript of his interview here, which is pretty interesting. I mean, he says, what we need to do is examine the entire Federal Reserve institution and whether they have been successful. I'm speaking, actually. I'm going to be in the building this evening. There's a regulatory conference that begins tomorrow. I'm the keynote speaker tonight talking about regulation. The Fed as well deals with monetary policy, regulations, financial stability. And again, I think that we should think, has the organization succeeded in its mission? You know, if this were the FAA and we were having this many mistakes, would we go back and look at it and say, why has this happened? I mean, look at if you said at the top of this broadcast there was fear-mongering over tariffs. And thus far, we've seen very little, if any, inflation. We've had great inflation numbers. So, I think this idea of them not being able to break out of a certain mindset at the Fed, all these PhDs over there, I don't know what they do. This is like universal basic income for academic economists. Mm-hmm. He is trashing the Fed.
Yeah.
And he was doing it all week. And he was going on any news program that would have him and trashing the Fed. At the end of one of his tweets that I read a lot about this because I find it interesting. At the end of one of his tweets, he said, is it possible, and I think it is, that the Treasury Department is capable of doing everything the Fed does? In other words, we are talking about internally abolishing the entire Federal Reserve and moving it under the Treasury Department. That's big news.
That's big news.
It hasn't happened, but it's big that it's being discussed.
Yeah, the thing that this is what I thought about with the Fed. The Fed exists and it exists independently. There's a lot of discussion whether Trump can or can't fire Jerome Powell. But it's also a bureaucracy, which means if you can't fire them, they're also not accountable. So you've got what you saw the Democrats do in the last administration, where they twisted everything and bent it to their will and to what they're trying to do. And if you move it to the Treasury, then they could do that with the monetary supply, with interest rates and all of that other stuff.
I'm completely on the same page as you with this. It's just like gerrymandering, where you go, well, everybody knows this current system is not great. It's a mess. You can see in Illinois or any other state, really, most states, that they've used gerrymandering to benefit the people in power. We know that that's happening. Everybody knows it, and it's both sides of the aisle. Mm-hmm. But what do you replace it with? I don't know. The Federal Reserve is the same. You go, the Federal Reserve is a mess. Do I want the Federal Reserve? No. But what do you replace it with? Because if it was under the Treasury Department right now under Scott Bessent, I'd say, great. I think you guys probably will be.
They would do a great job.
But the minute you guys aren't in charge and people who don't know what they're doing financially are in charge.
Janet Yellen.
Then the thing becomes an absolute weapon where they can do anything they want and set up future administrations for failure if they really wanted to, which we know they would. So I'm not really sure what the solution is here. I just think that deserved to be mentioned because it's pretty big news. Don't know if it'll go anywhere, but it is happening, and Scott Bessent is out there saying it as loud and robotic as he can. We'll take a short break and be right back and give you an update on sugar in Coke and what Pepsi is doing in response.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Get this, 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Tune in to the All Financial Hour with Steve All, Saturday mornings at 6, right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Mark Cox here. Let me introduce you to my friends at the Lit Cigar Lounge in St. Louis, where luxury meets comfort. Premium hand-rolled cigars, an extensive selection of rare bourbons and whiskeys and craft cocktails. It's comfortable for non-smokers, too. They have a state-of-the-art ventilation system. They have private lockers and live music every Friday night, perfect for date nights or business meetings or just winding down. Visit litstl.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Built in the heartland, for the heartland. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Essentially asking folks, what do you prefer the taste of, regular sugar or high fructose corn syrup? And it turns out that the American people say that they prefer regular sugar. Look at this. By a 2-to-1 margin, say Coke with sugar tastes better. Now, I must tell you that I think that this is a crock of baloney, because that includes folks who, A, have never even had Coke with sugar before, but it's also the fact that it was not a blind taste test, which I think is so important. Now, as someone who has, in fact, had many of Cokes with sugar, because Kosher for Passover Coke cannot have corn syrup in it, I also have developed a little bit of an interest in this topic. So I decided, you know what, screw these studies, let's actually conduct our own taste test, which I did with our AC 360 staff earlier today. And we can show the results of that, but I also want you to partake in your own taste test right here. We have 4 different Cokes for you. We have a Coke that comes in a plastic bottle. We have a Coke that comes in a glass bottle. We have a Coke that comes in a can. And then we have Mexican Coke with sugar as well. And at the end of your test, Mr. Berman, you'll tell me how it is, but I will tell you that the folks on the AC 360 team, which one did they prefer? They, in fact, preferred not Coke with sugar. They actually preferred a glass with corn syrup, 4-3 over with sugar, canned corn syrup 3, and a plastic corn syrup 1.
Oh, I love you, Harry Enton. I like that he went straight to the data. It's what he does with CNN. And he created data this time. I appreciate that, the blind taste test, because I really agree. The idea of drinking soda with sugar in it is way better than the reality. I cannot tell the difference.
Really?
If I can tell a difference, it's so small that I'm not sure I would ever say, oh, this one's better than. There might be a difference, but I couldn't tell you one's better than the other.
So here's my experience. I'd never had it before until we went on a mission trip to Mexico, and then I got a Coke in Mexico. It wasn't in my brain. It wasn't Mexican Coke. I didn't know
it was just Coke.
It was a Coca-Cola bottle, and it was written in Spanish, and it was in liters instead of ounces, and that sort of milliliters instead of ounces. But it was in a glass bottle. And I tasted it, and it was life-changing. I was like, this is way better than the Coke in the United States. I didn't know why. I didn't know that
Is it possible that because you're in Mexico, you're on vacation? You're
No,
parched,
I was not on vacation.
You were on a mission trip.
Yes.
But you're parched. You're just wanting something to drink, and then, this is the best Coke I've ever had because I'm in the heat.
Not at all. Because I was plenty hydrated. I wasn't thirsty. This was just on a break. We just sat down and we had that, and it was great. And it's still great. I will still prefer that one because when I got back to the United States, it's like, they don't have Mexican Coke here. Well, they started carrying it at Home Depot and you could get it there. And I was like, oh, great. And I would get it and it would be great. It's just better. But I didn't know if it was I didn't know that I didn't know it was made with high fructose corn syrup. The only thing that I knew differently was that it was in a glass bottle. Any soda in a glass bottle is superior to soda in any other form.
That's true. And that was my next question. Is it because it was in a glass bottle? It doesn't actually change the taste because, he's doing it in cups.
Right.
So he pours everything into cups so they're all equal, and nobody can really tell the difference. And they say the experience of putting it to your lips, sometimes it's a little colder, sometimes it's a little bit different. The experience of drinking a Coke out of a glass bottle.
Well, even like the Coke out of a can and Coke out of a plastic bottle is different. Plastic bottle's better in a can.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, the best Coke, fountain.
But do you
is the
think
best.
they taste different out of different containers?
I do.
A lot of people do.
I don't know what
but
it is.
whenever they do a taste test, they say no, nobody can tell.
Well, that's because you are then infecting it with whatever you put it in.
Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying? Because whatever container it's in, it's going to have an effect on it.
But I mean, it's instant. It's not as if you're letting it sit there.
I don't know how much that matters. But anyway, so I would rank them Coke from Mexico, glass bottle Coke, plastic Coke, can of Coke. And I would probably put fountain Coke ahead of plastic bottle.
I wish that they would start serving fountain soda with real sugar.
Yeah,
because that
would
not
be
happening.
that would be your purest.
Yeah, the way the lead here is that Coke is of course going to be shifting to some regular sugar, cane sugar for some of their sodas, but it's basically just bottles.
So the conspiracy theory is, I don't know if you heard this or not, the original Coke recipe, which is in a vault in Atlanta, and you can go and see it at the World of Coke down in Atlanta. The original recipe called for pure cane sugar. Now, do you remember New Coke, where they changed the recipe because Pepsi was kicking their butt in blind taste tests or whatever? The conspiracy theory is that whenever they did that, that's when they switched from pure cane sugar Coke over to high fructose corn syrup, and they wanted people to kind of have a break.
Have a buffer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they knew it would taste different.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the conspiracy theory.
So Coke is still pretty dominant in the soft drink
for sure.
world. Pepsi is losing market share like crazy.
Are
lately.
they?
Yeah, over the last few years. And I brought this story up because I mean, really, it's just interesting. This is about a month old now, but it's starting to actually kick in. So it's not as if they're doing this in response to the news of Coke moving to cane sugar, but it's still news. Beloved Pepsi flavors are being pulled from shelves. And I don't know if it's because they're not doing well or what, but if you see these out in the wild, you might want to grab them if you're a fan of them because they're going away. Pepsi Lime.
Haven't ever had that one. I don't know that I've even seen that one in the wild.
Pepsi Peach.
I would not even try that one.
I've tried it.
I would have tried the lime one.
Peach is pretty good. Lime, I couldn't really tell much of a difference. It was okay. Nitro Pepsi.
I have tried that.
Is that infused with caffeine?
Instead of using carbon dioxide.
Oh, yes, I have had this.
They use nitrous, NO2.
Well, it says that it's a smooth, creamy texture thanks to nitrogen infusion.
Yeah,
which is basically what you said.
It tastes weird.
It is weird, but it was an experience.
Because part of what makes Pepsi is the bubbles and the way they carbonate it.
Yeah, it says it was aiming to reimagine soda with a draft beer-like experience. Draft soda, Nitro Pepsi. I remember when that came out, and I tried it, and I was like,
I don't drink regular soda. Let me try this.
Okay.
Though.
And then Nitro Pepsi Vanilla is also going away, of course, because it's just a variation on that. Then Mountain Dew is also cutting all of it, like not all of it, but tons of its flavors.
Well, they have like 60 million.
They do have so many. Mountain Dew, these are going away. Mountain Dew Major Melon.
Nope.
Never had that one. Zero Sugar Major Melon. Mountain Dew Spark.
Is that the orange one? I think that's the orange one.
It says this came out in 2022 mainly. It was combined with citrus and bright raspberry lemonade.
Oh, no.
I don't know that
that's
I've had
not
that.
the one.
Mountain Dew Purple Thunder.
I've seen that one. Not interested.
Yeah, I have too. Mountain Dew Caffeine Free.
Why?
Why even exist?
Yeah, why bother?
Mountain Dew Whiteout. I think I've had this.
Yeah, I've had this as well.
Introduced in 2010 and originally chosen by fans in a public vote, Whiteout featured a smooth, citrusy flavor.
Yeah, kind of like Squirt.
With a milky white hue.
Yeah.
Is Squirt different than Mountain Dew?
Yes, yeah.
Because I like Squirt, but I don't drink Mountain Dew very much.
Squirt to me seems less sweet, and it's also a grapefruit flavor.
Yeah, yeah. Mountain Dew Kickstart Mango Lime. I mean, there's tons of these.
Kickstart is their energy drink.
Okay. Kickstart Original. These are going away.
Yeah.
And Mountain Dew Kickstart Blueberry Pomegranate.
Yes.
Have you ever had Dr. Pepper with regular sugar?
No.
So I watched a whole documentary on this, Brad. An entire movie was made on Dr. Pepper with sugar because there was one county in Texas where Dr. Pepper was still being produced with its original recipe, and they had it. And it's a cool movie because they would have festivals every. The whole town. I wish you could remember the name of the town. Was based on we have the original Dr. Pepper, and people would make trips like it was Mecca, going to visit the original, and they'd have these festivals, and you could get it only there. But they started selling it outside the county, and that's what caused problems because Dr. Pepper said, nah, that's not part of the contract. But their contract itself was written on a napkin. They had a napkin from like 100 years ago that the owner of Dr. Pepper at the time just scribbled out like, yeah, you can start. Here's the.
It's not Waco, is it?
It was around Waco.
Waco is where it was invented.
It was around there, but they scribbled on a napkin. Here's the county in which you can make Dr. Pepper in this way, and that napkin was the source of their entire legal basis for being able to make it. And this whole town, like the economy of the town, was based on that. And then Dr. Pepper, because it was unclear whether they could make it there, but could they sell it outside of there? And it was unclear.
Okay.
So they started selling it, and in the last 10 years, it became super popular to get the original Dr. Pepper from that one distributor in that one county in Texas. Well, then Dr. Pepper National caught wind of it, of course, and they started figuring out, is it real? We know that they legally can make it. That's been established. But can they sell it outside the county? Because it was becoming a pretty big problem for Dr. Pepper. And so I think they sued them, and they won, and they shut down the whole thing. So it's not even that it exists anymore. And people were mad. And so that's why the movie was made. It was really cool. But interesting stuff. If you're a soda fan like I am, although, man, I've been drinking nothing but zero sugar lately, and it is just not fun.
Ryan hasn't been the same around the office.
Oh, my
He's
gosh.
Moping around.
I told these guys before we started the show today that I found a box of these like Fiber One brand brownies, and they're just a little square. They're not very big, but each one of them has zero sugar. And I think by the end of the day, I will have eaten the whole box. Because it's like, oh, it's a loophole. It's sweet, but it's not really sugar. And I'm just craving it. It's like it's not going away. I thought by now I'm in 4 weeks of no added sugar and the craving would start to die. It's not. I still want it just as bad. And so I did an entire segment on soda like an idiot. We'll be right back with more, and we'll find out in the next segment whether Ethan is going to be hosting the 2 o'clock hour.
This summer, while you stay cool, our first responders stay on the front lines. The St. Louis First Responder Canteen is there to keep them hydrated and supported. Find out how you can help by visiting 971talk.com/talkinaction.
We've had a hot summer and you're cooling your house all the time. That AC is running overtime. Air Comfort Service wants to take your phone call if you need to have that AC checked out. The number to reach them directly at Air Comfort Service is 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. They can check out if you feel like the house, it's like the air conditioner is running all the time and it just doesn't seem to be cooling to the number that you have it set at. Our sleep temperature is 67 degrees. But we usually keep it at about 73 during the day. If it's running and not cooling to the temperature you need it to, you probably have to have it looked at. It could be the HVAC unit itself. It might be the attic insulation in your home. They can help with that as well, even checking the ductwork in your house to see if air is leaking out of the ventilation throughout your home before it reaches the destinations that it needs to. Call Air Comfort Service at 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
Are you nearing retirement and don't know if you have enough money saved to retire? That is scary. Do you have a written retirement financial plan in place? Well, when it comes to retirement planning, the trusted team at Financial and Tax Architects are the best. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. And that's what you want. You want to retire with confidence. Now, they offer a one-night, 2.5-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. They hold these at colleges over the St. Louis area and in Illinois. No cost, no obligation, just learning. And at this class, you learn how to avoid costly mistakes, how to maximize your income, how to reduce taxes in retirement. So call them today, 314-888-5101, or visit fta-ria.com and take the first step toward a smarter retirement. 314-888-5101.
With conviction and clarity, The Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Songs I hated as a kid, but as an adult, I'm like, oh, that's a banger.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Ethan, are you a big fan of Saturday Night Live?
No, I could care less about
Did
Saturday
you
Night
ever
Live.
watch it as a show, or just was it always a clip show?
Not ever in my life have I watched Saturday Night Live.
I feel
live.
like Saturday Night Live for Ethan's entire life that he's been old enough to watch it has been garbage.
Correct. Now, there are clips that I've seen, even some from that are modern-ish or, within the last several years that I laugh at, I think are funny. But most of them, yes, coming from when I would have been a lot younger, or, of course, the old days when you guys were young.
Is it always new clips, like, oh, this week's, and then there was one random sketch that really hit? Or do you ever see old stuff that you're like, oh, that's pretty funny?
No, I'll see stuff that's older that I'm like, oh, that's funny. But it's not like I'm also... Saturday Night Live, for my generation, has never really been this thing that...
it's not like a cultural driver.
No, nowhere
yeah, I didn't get
close.
that sense.
No.
It's still... It's like legacy media
Mm-hmm.
in that it still has sway because of its name and its history.
It's just standing on its history.
But they just did their 50th anniversary earlier this year, and it was a big deal. Like everybody who's anybody was there.
I did watch that one.
That's funny. That's the one I didn't watch, and I
watched the clip. When I say I watched it,
you didn't watch it.
No,
but I think it was in prime time. But I was driving home yesterday after our show, and after we watched Jerome Powell stand there next to Trump, and it was funny. But I was driving home thinking, oh, yeah, I got a host tomorrow. And I was just, I don't know.
I need something.
I need something. What am I going to do? But I started, this is so stupid. I'm driving home, and I don't know what it is about. There's lots and lots of homeless people out right now. I don't know if it's because it's the summer or what. But there was a sketch where Tracy Morgan plays a homeless guy on Saturday Night Live, and and he sings a song in it that goes, "Make a doo-doo pie, I love you," and I sing that all the time for no reason, out of nowhere.
Because of course you do.
Because I'll just sing it, eat a doo-doo pie or whatever it is, and I was thinking, man, I need to go actually see that sketch because it's pretty old now. And I remember that the pitch of the sketch had to be something like, okay, Britney Spears is hosting. Let's have Britney Spears climb down in a sewer and fall in love with a homeless guy. And so I've pulled up the sketch. I found it. This isn't the whole thing, but it's about 2 minutes of it. And I'm just going to play it. And yes, the audio is one thing, but you can see it if you want to tune in on our YouTube channel.
Well, this is it. This is where I live.
Oh, it's not so bad. I like the mailbox.
Oh, I stole that because it has secrets about me.
You know what? Sometimes I'd like to steal a mailbox.
Oh, you just saying that.
I know.
Say, Brittany, I was wondering.
What?
Well, you're always singing for everybody else. And, well, I wrote this song and I thought...
Oh, that's so sweet. Yes, please,
Is
I'd
that
love
a phone
to
book?
hear it.
Yeah,
I got it right here.
It's a phone book. He wrote this song in a phone book.
It's no, oops, I did it again, but...
Just sing it.
Little TV sets going off inside my ear. Spacemen floating by, firecracker beer. Chase the demons lightly inside your eye. Up and down the sidewalk, take a doo-doo pie. I love you.
Oh my gosh, that was so beautiful.
You mean it?
I do. It was really nice.
I kind of wrote it at a real crazy time in my life. You really like it?
I love it.
I love you.
I love you too.
They're about to kiss.
Britney Spears, are you down there in the sewer?
It's my manager.
We're coming to get you.
You better go.
I can't. I'm gonna stay with you. Down here in the sewer.
No. The world up there needs you. You go.
I'll see you, Woodrow.
His name's Woodrow.
So long, Brittany. Chase the demons nightly. News it hits your eye. Up and down the sidewalk. Take a doo-doo pie. I love you.
Just the pitch. The pitch that sketch had to be is Tracy Morgan walking into a room and going, okay, the biggest pop star, arguably the biggest star in the world, is going to be on the show. How about if she comes down into the sewer and falls in love with a homeless guy who serenades her?
It's kind of predictive, isn't it?
It's great. It's so good.
If that reminds me of anything, it is how good looking she was.
She was beautiful.
She was gorgeous. And
Yeah,
now she is just oh my gosh. It's sad when you look at how much she's fallen off.
That was 2000.
That was 2000?
Free Britney was a mistake.
Sheesh.
And I forgot to even really set up why I was doing it. So, like, if you listen to my show on the weekends, for about a year ago, I decided, okay, there's so many great sketches that we've all forgotten about. And they just exist out there. And some of them are hard to find if you even remember it, let alone, you just watching a show, you don't remember it. So I decided to go through my journey is going to be, I'm going to start watching all the episodes of Saturday Night Live, starting from when the original cast left. So like Belushi and Chevy Chase and all those guys, they were the first generation. They leave. Then I'm going to start watching it from then on. Well, if you watch it on Peacock, it's like 2 sketches in an episode, and then it's over. And I guess it's because they didn't get the rights to everything.
Oh.
So they're all there, but there's nothing there.
They're there, but there's no there.
So I've tried watching them to try to find like some really funny stuff, and it was pretty messy back in the day. Like in those Dick Ebersol years when Lorne Michaels was not in charge of the show was a weird format. It was a mess. So unfortunately, I didn't get to really go through it because I don't know that this stuff really exists anywhere other than in individual clips on the internet. I wish they'd put them all out on DVD. I'd go through the whole thing. All right, 2 o'clock hour coming up, and we'll find out whether Ethan is hosting next.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan. This is a smart move, folks. If you have any mortgage questions, if you are looking for a new one, you're shopping for homes, of course, interest rates have stayed high, higher than, of course, the president thinks they should be at the Fed. And so mortgage rates haven't gone down as much as we would like. So a lot of people are holding on to their home. If you're looking to purchase a new home, that means prices are kind of high right now. You need to save every dollar you can get. You need to make a good decision. And Stewie is going to tell you why it's smart to buy now before those interest rates go down and even more buyers come onto the market. That can drive up the cost of homes even more for a period of time. Go now, get your new mortgage. Get the rate that you qualify for right now, and then you can refinance with the Bagel Loan later, pay $0 in closing costs, and lock in the lower rate when it actually happens. 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440. Call or text. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon with news for listeners who, like me, want to learn more about Bitcoin. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club is coming to St. Louis later this summer. The Bitcoin Ben Crypto Clubs teach members what Bitcoin is, how to buy it, how to safely store it, and how to avoid scams. And we'll connect with others like us who want to learn more about crypto. St. Louis will be the 7th club nationwide and Ben's hometown. If you want to know more about Bitcoin, you need to know Bitcoin Ben. Learn more at bitcoinben.io. That's bitcoinben.io.
Getting a new roof is serious business, and you want to make sure you're working with someone you can trust. Mark Cox here for Correll Roofing Company. My friend Curtis Correll is a lifetime St. Louisan. He's a local business owner, and he's running crews with over 20 years of experience. When Curtis gets on your roof, you can trust him to be honest with you about whether you need a new roof or not. He will work out all of the details with your insurance company and make sure you're getting the right roof for your home. He tells me he doesn't overcommit. So when other roofing companies do that, quality suffers, customer service can drop off. At Correll Roofing, they pay attention to details. They have quality materials and workmanship, and they use quality roofs that are built to last. That's what you want. They can also help you out with luxury line roofing like metal roofs and architectural shingles. Call 314-222-9529. That's 222-9529. Or Correll Roofing Co. on Facebook.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
An expanding crackdown on sanctuary policies. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Trump says legal fights will continue over policies interfering with immigration enforcement after the Justice Department sued New York City this week.
That's going to be a pretty routine filing with other cities, too. As you know, we've started numerous lawsuits with other cities. We want to bring safety. We've got to get the criminals out, and we're doing it in record numbers.
New York Mayor Eric Adams has criticized sanctuary policies, especially for those who commit violent crimes.
And I've made it clear over and over again.
But he continues to point to the city council making the policies. Adams is among the officials named in the DOJ suit months after a federal corruption case against him was dropped. The man accused of a second assassination plot against President Trump on a Florida golf course last summer represents himself in federal court for the first time.
The judge strongly urged against it, but we did see Ryan Ruth act as his own attorney only after proving he comprehends the risks that come along with self-representation.
Fox's Dana Marie McNichol.
Ruth was shackled by the hands. He also was surrounded by his notes and a large law book. He answered multiple questions from Judge Eileen Cannon with, quote, "I don't know." At one point, he said to her, quote, "Obviously, I'm new to all this. I'm just a simple-minded fool." The judge had to stop and explain legal procedure to him multiple times during the hearing. Psychiatrists say Ruth doesn't meet the legal definition of insanity, so Judge Cannon had to constitutionally let him represent himself.
The judge also did order Ruth's defense attorneys to remain on standby. Today's hearing was previously scheduled for arguments over evidence and expert testimony. More frozen education grants are being released by the Trump administration. Billions of dollars more for schools following the recent release of money for after-school and summer programs. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eloquist.com or call 1-855-ELOQUIST.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Hot and humid through the afternoon. Partly sunny skies, though we are watching some scattered thunderstorms around the area as we go through the afternoon. 95 for the high. Tonight, scattered evening thunderstorms out of here very quickly. The atmosphere just goes flat. It's warm and humid, 77 Saturday and Sunday. Partly sunny, hot and humid, nothing more than a spot afternoon storm each day. Mid to upper 90s. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If you need a new air conditioner installed this summer, call a company you can trust to install your AC properly. That will get your home cool and comfortable fast. For a free estimate on a new air conditioner, visit aircomfortservice.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Oh, yeah, this is the moment you have been waiting for. Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom.
Annie's out. Ryan and Brad are in.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
This is the Mannie Frey Show.
This is the Mannie Frey Show. I've been looking forward to this all day. In fact, probably for a couple weeks, because we knew we were going to put Ethan in the hot spot and make him host if you told us that he had to. So today's YouTube live chat poll is, should Ethan host the 2 p.m. hour? I'm going to click on no here. Actually, yeah, let me click on yes.
Oh, jerk.
Yes. 83% say yes, he should host the hour. Therefore, take it away, Ethan.
I hate you all. Just wanted to let you know that.
And by the way, if you haven't voted yet, go on there after he started hosting and vote no.
It just magically starts growing.
Take his confidence down throughout the hour.
Ethan's gonna come in. Hello, friends and audience.
And Ryan.
This is where you shine. What do you got for us?
So it wouldn't be Ethan putting his stamp on the Mannie Frey Show if there wasn't sports involved, right? But I combined sports and politics.
Amazing.
Spolitics.
You're like this generation's Will Kane.
Is that what he does?
Yeah,
I wouldn't know.
A little bit.
Yesterday, President Donald Trump, in his words, saved college sports. Did you happen to hear about his new executive order?
Yeah, but I don't know anything about it, which is why I'm glad that you brought this up.
So, President Trump yesterday signed an executive order to protect student athletes and collegiate athletic scholarships and opportunities. This is going to end up being a pretty big deal, guys. I think. Obviously, we've talked a little bit on this show here the past, I don't know, more than several months. It's come up at times how NIL has been bad for college sports. While there are some pros out of it, right? The system is getting taken advantage of.
For those of us who don't know what NIL is, what is that?
So NIL stands for name, image, and likeness. And the whole idea, right, is that college athletes, just up until a couple of years ago, were not able to profit off of their name. That was the rules and regulation that the NCAA had set up for them.
That's the way we liked it. We in the corporate C-suite said, yeah, we own you.
The problem, Ryan, is that the NCAA has been making millions off of these athletes' names for a very long time.
And that's the way we liked it.
Are you a part of the NCAA?
No, he's just old and a purist.
Got it. Okay. So a couple of years ago, this all gets changed. But now the problem has become that there has been really no regulation on this. And it's getting out of hand very quickly to all of a sudden where recruiting at one time was an art. It was based off the quality of your facilities. It was based off of the education that you provided. Who would have thought?
That's not true.
A little bit. But more so, right, what you could provide, the opportunity, depending on the sport, if it was going to set you up for success down the road, potentially, in the professionals. And
let me ask you this before you move past that, because I remember this happening. Was it a court case that caused that to happen, or was it actual legislation? Do you remember?
I think this went to the Supreme Court.
I thought so too. I think it was a court case that changed everything.
I believe that it went to the Supreme Court. So now, like I said, it's gotten completely out of hand. All it's really about now is money.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it's about.
Yeah.
Who can pay me the most?
I hate it.
So President Trump's executive order.
I hate money.
Do you know?
That's why.
Just a moment ago, you loved it when you loved the suppression of all these college athletes.
I wasn't benefiting from that.
You just enjoyed them being suppressed.
I like when the corporate suite makes money, just like here.
Very interesting.
That's why I have such a low salary.
Oh, it sure is a Friday.
Gosh, Ryan.
So the order will require the preservation and, where possible, expansion of opportunities for scholarships and collegiate athletic competition in women's and non-revenue sports. It will prohibit third-party pay-for-play payments to college athletes. This does not apply, though, to legitimate fair market value compensation that a third party provides to an athlete, such as brand endorsement. That's something that you'll see a lot at lower levels, right? That's the only one you'll see at lower levels. For example, Lindenwood University, just up I-70 in St. Charles. I know a bunch of people from broadcasting there, being a student there. I know a bunch of people that are on these smaller brand endorsement deals, and that's how they make their NIL.
Kidding.
Yeah, totally. Chicken and Pickle does a bunch of them. Chicken and Pickle does some. Smoothie King does some. Several different.
I had no idea. Mm-hmm. I thought you had to be pretty big to get an endorsement.
Oh no, NIL has become, because even these kids, right? They have reach on their social medias. They're able to provide reach that is benefiting these companies, even if it's not getting to millions of people, right? So a lot of these kids don't even make money off of them, but they're getting like, okay, we'll give you free membership to this place, or we'll give you so it's a benefit still, but this is going to change more so the upper levels of this. As far as the third-party pay-for-play, colleges cannot straight up pay these athletes to be going to their schools.
So under the current system, well, up until now, the college itself could just say, yeah, we're going to pay you $1 million to come here.
Basically, but it usually wouldn't be straight from the college, but it's money that is given to the college specifically
work it through
for
an NGO.
I mean, basically. Pay for play refers to a system where access or participation in an activity or service or opportunity is contingent upon paying a fee. So I mean, it's coming through the league, but not directly from the school. So it just has gotten super, super messy, and this will allow for the opportunity, I think, for things to potentially get cleaned up. Nick Saban was actually on Fox and Friends this morning, and he shared his thoughts on this. I'm going to get this pulled up here in a second. There it is. Audio on?
No, but there's something playing in the background too, so I want to make sure that you don't have that running as well.
Man, hosting the show.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not even upset. You did this to yourself.
I'm upset.
All right, you got the video up?
Yep.
All right, we're good.
One of the reasons I believe you left is because where college sports was going. What does this executive order do?
Well, I think, President Trump's executive order takes a huge step in, providing the educational model that has always been what we've sort of tried to promote to create opportunities for players, male and female alike, revenue and non-revenue, so that they can have development as people, students, and develop careers and develop professionally if that's what they choose to do. So I think we sort of need to make a decision here relative to, do we want to have an education-based model, which I think that the president made a huge step toward doing that, or do we want to have universities sponsor professional teams? And I think most people would choose the former.
Coach, one of the reasons I believe you left.
Thank you. So you hear Nick Saban, who one of the best college football coaches, the best college football coach of all time. Just a couple of years ago, he retired, and a huge reason as to why he did was because NIL started to become incorporated into college sports, and all of a sudden it wasn't about anything besides money anymore. Like I said, this is going to clean this up a little bit. It's also going to benefit, Title IX. There's just a bunch of mess as far as the large amount of revenues in college sports is coming from football and basketball, and it's kind of leaving this. What about every single other college sport? This potentially leaves the danger of, if all the money is getting put back into those sports, what's it going to do for these other sports, for these other college athletes? This is going to force some of that revenue to be going to those other sports as well, to women's sports as well. So it feels like this is a step in the right direction. I'm not seeing that anything is going to immediately this second change from this, but it's the first step in the conversation that needs to happen to try and get some regulations on the NIL stuff.
So the idea here is that basically the 30,000-foot overview of Trump's executive order is what he's basically eliminating the possibility of pay for play, and he's making it more that you have to get an agent and do endorsements to make money.
Third-party entities or boosters are providing these payments to the college students, and this will stop that from happening. You will be able to have endorsements, right? You could say, like, hey, you'll be able to have this opportunity to partner up with this car company, and you'll have a car when you're here, right? But the university themselves are not providing that car. They have a partnership perhaps with a company. As far as I know, that is allowed. That's still going to be allowed. So they're still going to be able to use this to their advantage, right? The NIL, and entice students to come. But all of a sudden, so many of these smaller schools, right, or even schools that you'd argue are Power 5, bigger levels, can't compete with the top schools, and all of a sudden it's going to become super top-heavy and unnecessary. So this is a good first step in the right direction for college sports, I think. Well, is this where I send us to break?
That's where the time is.
Hey, if you think it's time, you're running the ship.
I don't like you.
Do this.
I'm going to wrap.
Okay.
I'm going to wrap this. We're going to take a quick pause right here on the Mannie Frey Show. When we return, sports and local with yours truly on 97.1 St. Louis Conservative.
Yeah, I've got a couple meals at home that I go to pretty often. One is quesadillas, and I don't use Andrea's on those, but the other is a Burger Bites. These are basically just hamburgers made into tiny little patties because my kids love eating Burger Bites, and I have a clever name for them, so we just do it all the time. And they're real easy with Andrea's sauce, so I just make these little bitty things, and we just grill them inside, and I just use Andrea's sauce on them. I don't use anything else. It's just meat and Andrea's sauce because it's so simple. And then you'd think that because there's nothing else to it, the kids would all go, oh, I need to put, some other sauce on this. They don't. They just eat them as is because it makes the burgers flavorful and also very juicy. And so you're not eating a dry patty when you use Andrea's sauce, whether you're grilling outside or like we do just on the George Foreman inside sometimes if it's too hot. Check it out. Get Andrea's steak sauce. It is famous worldwide, no kidding. But it is made right here in St. Louis, and if you've never tried it, now's the time. Go get Andrea's steak sauce at Deerberg's or at Schnucks or at Andreas.com.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
Just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Feel like your paycheck barely keeps up with your life? At the Financial Freedom Seminar, learn how real people are building passive income and retiring early using real estate. It's all happening live in St. Louis with Lifestyles Unlimited, September 27th and 28th. You'll leave with a step-by-step plan to change your future. Text radio to 88007. That's live in St. Louis, September 27th and 28th. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007.
Speeding while driving gives you less time to react. Another car could turn out in front of you. A pedestrian could be walking their dog. Follow the speed limit to keep them safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Live, local, and conservative. It's the Annie Frey Show. 97.1 FM Talk.
I had a bad week, spent the evening pretending it wasn't that deep. You could see in my eyes that it was taking over. Hold up!
Check it out.
Sports and local.
Spittin' facts and shizzle, man.
Does that even say your name?
Shizzle or Chisel?
Shizzle.
Shizzle,
These
man.
are all listener suggestions still.
Sports and local, spittin' facts and shizzle, man, with yours truly, right here on the Mannie Frey Show.
Even a word. It doesn't even say Ethan's name either.
Doesn't. Nope. It does not at all. If you're wondering why the heck is Ethan hosting, well, the YouTube live chat poll today asked if Ethan should host the 2 o'clock hour. Unfortunately, you all hate me, so you clicked yes by an overwhelming majority. It was like 85% or something
And it's
like that.
holding steady.
It is. It's dropped a little bit.
I
Let's
advocate
keep
for
those
people
numbers
to
going
hit
down.
no throughout this hour.
You did. And the people have ignored you.
Yeah, they have.
As they tend to do. All right, let's go ahead and let's jump into the local. Burritos may seem like a simple mix of meat and rice and beans wrapped in a tortilla, but in the right hands,
starving. Here we go.
But in the right hands, boy, do they deliver some unforgettable experiences, don't they?
Basically, the highlights of my life involve burritos.
A research team for lovefood.com recently combined a list naming the best burrito in every U.S. state. Their selections were based on reviews, awards, and accolades, in addition to the firsthand experience of their food writing team. And according to lovefood.com, the best burrito in Missouri is the fajita burrito sold at Mariachi's 2 Mexican restaurant in St. Louis. Has anyone been to Mariachi's 2?
I've been to a mariachi.
Yeah, same. I've been to a mariachi's.
But is it the same place, or are they just called the same thing? But mine's in Illinois.
Yeah,
and I
same.
think it's called mariachis too, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know.
But it's in Illinois? It's like a Mandela effect.
I think it might be a chain, or it's just the same name.
Like or it could be a small chain.
Yes.
Mariachi's it's fajita burrito is kicked up a notch is what it says. It's a classic burrito kicked up a notch inside a crispy grilled flour tortilla. It's packed with rice, beans, pico de gallo, mixed cheeses, and sour cream. So congratulations to Mariachi's 2 on winning best burrito in Missouri. And of course, it comes from St. Louis.
Ethan, do you remember your first?
My first burrito?
Yeah.
First burrito. Actually, I think I do.
Amazing, because I don't.
I think I do too.
No way. Are you kidding me?
No.
This was a joke. And now
Where
you
was
guys
yours?
actually remember it?
Mine. This is going to sound really lame, but
Where
mine
was your
a-
first?
Mine was a Taco Bell bean burrito.
How old were you?
Checks out.
And where were you?
Probably like 10. Taco Bell by the fairgrounds in Belleville.
It really was a memorable experience. Ethan, but you said you remember yours too, so.
Yeah, but it was an actual burrito. It wasn't Taco Bell.
Where was it?
Hey, those are real burritos?
No,
Yeah,
they're not.
sorta.
Get out of here.
Give us a break.
Was it? Wait, so it wasn't while you were working at Taco
No.
Bell?
It was way
This
before.
was way before.
That's what
This-
caused him to want to work there.
I was about to ask,
Okay,
did this
it
help
was
inspire
life-changing.
you to work at Taco Bell?
No. That is not what inspired me to work at Taco Bell. I just remember we were out with my mom, and she's like, I want Taco Bell. And we were always like, we want McDonald's. And she's like, we're getting Taco Bell.
My first burrito, was at this restaurant in Alton, Illinois called Riviera Maya Original.
This is incredible.
And
the year?
Huh?
The year?
It would have been, I probably would have been around 10 also, 10 or 11, so probably 2011-ish. And I mean, it was I remember, because at that point, right, you're super picky. You go to a Mexican restaurant, like, at what point are you just getting, like, the chicken tenders still, right? Everyone goes through that. And I remember one day being like, I want meat and I want cheese. And I looked on the menu and I found the thing that had both of those. And it was called cheesesteak burrito. I was like, that'll play.
Boy, that's steak and cheese. Yeah, here we go.
And I think that combination pretty much tends to be what I still get at Mexican restaurants.
I will say this, just because somebody in our listening area, actually quite a few people probably, if you've ever been in Southern Illinois, I went to college in Carbondale, SIUC.
I know where you're talking about.
You already know where I'm going with this, don't you?
Yeah.
Burritos as big as your head?
Burritos as big as your head.
What's the name of that place?
I cannot for the
We
life
always
of me
just
remember.
called it Burritos as big as your head.
I remember we were coming home from a father-son camping trip at Camp Ondesank, and they're like, no, we need to stop in Carbondale and get these burritos from this place. They're as big as your head.
And they have
Are they actually, though?
I mean, they're pretty big.
They're massive.
They have a guy standing there with a burrito as a head. And then I would always joke, like when I was eating one, that the burrito was screaming.
La Bambas.
La Bambas. That's not the first burrito I ever had, but it is the first time I ever had horchata. Was at that restaurant.
Yes, me too.
And it
I don't even know
was
what that
so
is.
good. You don't know what horchata is?
Mm-mm.
Oh, man.
You're old enough to drink.
Mm-hmm.
You've had rum chata?
Yep.
So rum chata is based on horchata.
Okay.
Basically that without rum.
Yeah, it's just the drink without rum, and it is so good.
Is it alcoholic?
No.
No, it's a rice milk drink with cinnamon.
Why would you drink it then?
Oh, because it's delicious.
Gosh, it's fantastic.
Really?
Yeah, you got to go to an authentic-ish Mexican restaurant.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Moving on in sports and local. Let's see. What was it called again today? Spittin' Facts and Shizzle Man. A date has been set for Missouri's back-to-school sales tax holiday weekend. It will be from 12:01 a.m. on Friday, August 1st through midnight on Sunday, August 3rd. So any moms and dads out there trying to save a few bucks on the Missouri side, this is your opportunity.
That's next weekend, not this one, right?
Mm-hmm. Certain purchases during the shopping holiday, such as school supplies, computers, clothing, and other qualifying items, will be exempt from all state and local taxes. And according to the Missouri Department of Revenue, some of the following are included, which would be clothing that does not have a taxable value of more than $100.
Clothing that does not reveal your belly button.
That's not on the list. So don't listen to Ryan. Not the first time.
Actually, listen to Ryan. Don't get your daughter that.
School supplies not exceeding $50 per purchase that are used in a standard classroom for educational purposes, as well as personal computers that do not cost more than $1,500, and computer peripheral devices that do not cost more than $1,500. I'm looking at that one specifically, and I'm kind of like, ooh,
computer peripheral devices. We're talking like tablets and stuff, right?
Yeah, that could save you, triple-digit numbers right there. Could it not potentially?
Up to
if you're
$1,500.
spending near $1,500?
Yeah, it's probably you could $150.
Yeah,
maybe that's pretty big savings. As a conservative, I think the sales tax holiday should go from January through December.
And then start up
Why
again
is
in
that,
January.
Ryan?
And then start up again in January.
I'm really getting my hosting abilities out here. Ryan, tell us why.
Thank you for asking. It's because I hate taxes.
Right. Taxation is theft.
Thank you for filling time on the clock. Appreciate
welcome.
that, my good acquaintance.
So specific.
This is great.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate
The
that.
no's have ticked up a little bit, though.
It's okay.
in
That's
the poll.
fine.
Just a tiny bit, though.
That does not hurt. I promise you, it does not hurt my feelings at all.
Ethan's hoping to turn this poll over by the end of this segment.
The American College of Sports Medicine just released its 2025 Fitness index ranking the 100 largest U.S. cities based on how healthy and active their residents are. All 100 cities were measured on factors like access to parks, recreation facilities, bike lanes, and public spaces, as well as personal health data, including smoking rates, mental health, physical activity, and diet.
I thought you were just going to stop at America's largest cities.
No, not that. Here's the good news. 94 cities reported higher levels of aerobic activity, and 89 showed an uptick in residents meeting aerobic and strength training guidelines. So that's an encouragement. Smoking declined in 75% of the cities as well.
Is smoking even cool anymore?
No, it's not cool.
Among
now it's
Gen
vaping.
Z,
It's
Alpha,
vaping now.
but
I don't even
cool?
know that vaping's cool.
Is
It
vaping
was when
cool?
I was in high school.
Right, but now it
I'm
kinda
not-
almost seems-
I don't see it very much anymore. It was never cool for me.
Is drinking cool?
In high school, probably still, yeah.
Just because it's rebellious.
Do they
Yeah.
party still? Like, do they still have
yeah.
parties?
Oh, yeah, totally. 100%.
Okay.
All right.
Where
Continue.
would you guys guess out of the top 100 on this list, St. Louis would fall?
Of most healthy?
Yes.
Well, you're reporting on it, so
We got to be either near the top or near the bottom.
yeah. So I'm gonna go number 7.
That's near the top. I'm going to say we're the least healthy, near number 94.
Okay, so Brad said number 7. He got one of the numbers right.
70.
Is it 97?
No, we were 72nd.
7.
So
we're
towards
pretty
the
low.
bottom.
So I win.
We're towards the bottom.
I got both of those numbers correct. I just said it once.
Thank you, Brad. Well done. Congratulations. Number 1 on the list, Arlington, Virginia. Number 2, Washington, D.C., which that's basically
yeah, there's
the
a lot of green space and bike.
It's also
paths and all that
basically the
stuff.
same
Yeah, it's
place.
the same city.
So I thought that was funny that they're considered separate. Seattle was 3rd. Chicago was 11th on the list. What
Really?
else? Yeah. Kansas City's even lower than St. Louis. They were
Yeah.
82nd.
Let's call that barbecue.
I guess so. And the most unhealthy city in the country, Oklahoma City.
Let's go to Oklahoma City, baby.
Been
What
there
is in
before.
Oklahoma? Do they must probably have good barbecue. If
They
I
got a
had to guess.
basketball team.
Yeah, they
That's
do. That
about it.
finally won something.
Has
this year.
anybody here ever been to Oklahoma for any reason?
I have.
Have you?
Yeah, I've been to Oklahoma City for a conference for our denomination, and then I've also been there to Tulsa, Oklahoma for races that they hold every January called the Chili Bowl Nationals, which is an indoor dirt race at the Tulsa Expo Center.
Better be some real good chili there.
I feel like that's a conservative state that people are sleeping on.
Mm-hmm.
That is actually gaining a lot of industry, but it's not getting talked about like Tennessee and Florida
Yep.
do, and Texas. And there's a massive theme park that's going to open.
Yes, I've heard about this.
Near, I don't know if it's in Oklahoma City. I was thinking it was a little closer to us, actually, like northeastern side of the state. But it's the whole theme of the theme park is Americana.
Mm-hmm.
And it's designed by Disney Imagineers. So it's a major theme park that's coming.
Ron comments and says Oklahoma City is a great city for tornado watching. And I'd have to imagine
Yeah.
it is, with
where
how
the
far
wind-
out you can see from some of those tall
Wind
buildings.
comes sweeping across the plains.
Final story here before we wrap sports and local. St. Louis board announces that they are going to demolish 40 tornado-hit homes using sewer funds. A public St. Louis board is mobilizing existing funds to demolish said buildings by, of course, the May 16th tornado, passing a resolution this past Tuesday. The Land Clearance for Redevelopment Authority passed the measure, which uses those funds to demolish any tornado-impacted structures. An employee at the St. Louis Development Corps said at Tuesday's board meeting that it will apply only to residential structures. The resolution said it had identified 40 structures for demolition that were just in such rough shape. And it will, the LCRA is not going to take them over. Instead, it's seeking ways to obtain the consent of property owners. So St. Louis still in this tough spot, trying to recover and
it's
trying.
a lurch.
What'd you say?
It's a lurch. It's tough.
I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago when I was flying back in from out of town, and you can see just all of the blue and white tarps on top of
That's wild.
on top of houses that still do have open holes in their roofs.
You live in Missouri.
I live in St. Charles.
On your way home, do you see any of this at all?
I do not from the interstate. I mean, I get on 70 right away and I take it, so I don't see any of it. But I mean, if anytime you drive through Forest Park, or anywhere around there, you can see, I mean, tons of damage to some of those old historic homes in that area.
Yeah, it's been a couple months since I've driven through, a month and a half maybe since I've driven by any of it, because obviously me and Brad and Andy, we live in Illinois. We don't see it. But the last time I drove through Forest Park area off of Skinker, I was shocked by how bad it still was. I mean, major damage. And it's so crazy, just like any tornado, where one building will be fine, and then 3 buildings are destroyed right next to it, and it's pretty widespread. I just haven't seen it in the last couple months, so I don't know if it's gotten any better.
It's a slow but sure process, and Kara Spencer's doing everything that she can. It looks like to try and this has been her entire time in office so far.
Huge Kara Spencer fan, are you?
I don't know if I would say that, but she's. I'll say
You're
this.
pulling for her.
She's had a tough task. Yeah, we all should
shouldn't
pull
we?
for her.
Shouldn't
yeah.
we be?
Yeah,
absolutely.
we all are.
It is a Friday on the Mannie Frey Show. About a half hour to go. Going to continue wrapping things up when we return on 97.1 St. Louis Conservative.
The Retirement Advisory Group is having another Protecting Your Retirement educational event, and I'd love to see you there. Here's what you need to do. Go online to retirementkey.com. You can learn about this event there if you don't catch any of the specific details right now. Retirementkey.com is a great place to go, but I'm going to throw the deets out there and give them a call, 314-993-9494, and reserve your spot. Here's the information. Tuesday, August 5th at the Frontenac Hilton. The event begins at 6:30. It's probably going to last maybe 45 minutes or so. I get there at 6 o'clock, and from 6 and 6:30, I would love the opportunity to meet you. Come join us at this free event. There's snacks and there's information, and it doesn't take up your whole evening. This is a no-brainer. If you are looking to protect your retirement, if you want to make sure that you know what to do in that transitionary period, you have the people ready to meet you, myself included, Thomas Helbig, Bob and Tammy Kershaw at the Retirement Advisory Group. All you got to do is give them a call, 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com.
College football summer is no time to slouch because we are taking you to school on the Cover 3 podcast, part of the CBS Sports Podcast Network. It's time for our annual summer school series as we take time to break down some of your favorite teams with experts and insiders who know these depth charts from top to bottom. But summer school is just extra credit as we go through positional drafts, player rankings, and more. Follow and listen to the Cover 3 podcast on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
God, remember when the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Pile were flying around the arch selling flooring?
Andrea, that was the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Tile.
Oh, that's right. But we don't need shtick here at Best Buy Flooring.
That's right, because our in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile are already at low, low prices.
Come see us at our 3 area locations, North County, South County, and Metro East. Open 7 days a week.
Plus, free financing on approved credit. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
Ethan Hannaford is hosting this hour. I'd give him about a 6 out of 10 so far. You can vote against him in the YouTube live chat poll if you wish, or you can vote for him, but I don't know why you do that. 2:36. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Bold takes, real talk, no apologies. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Mannie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk. Ethan Hannaford, Brad Range, Ryan Wiggins. I put you last for a reason.
This is my favorite thing about this is you just never cease to hurl bombs at Ryan.
Don't act like it's not the other way around.
No, it's. I love it.
He just gave me a D in my hosting, which honestly, that was kind of nice.
6 to 10, 60%. That's an F, bud.
It's above average.
A 60?
Yeah.
A 60's a D minus.
You sound like a pro.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll take that. Brad, said you had an interesting story that you wanted to bring to the table, an article.
I'm subscribed to a newsletter, and it's from Zuby. I don't know if you guys know who Zuby is.
Nope.
Have you heard of Zuby?
Well, actually, I have. He's a rapper?
Yeah, he was a rapper, but kind of like rose to fame by posting him doing a deadlift warm-up of his.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, this is what really kind of launched him into the public eye. He did this deadlift, and this is right back whenever the whole transgender movement thing was happening. And he did the deadlift, and he sat down, and he's like, also, I identified as a woman before I did that. Don't at me, you bigots. And the deadlift he did was basically broke the UK women's world record in his warm-up.
I didn't know any of this.
It was great. So anyway, that got me going, who's this guy? And I started following his music and stuff like that, and I like that. And I got in on a Kickstarter for one of his albums, and I got subscribed to his newsletter. And one of these newsletters that he sent out is tips from a successful millennial who refuses to lie to you, and this is to Gen Z men. He said...
that would be me.
That would be you.
But I am a Gen Z man.
But I was looking through this, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on whether or not you think these are good tips.
Advice from millennials.
From millennials to Gen Z. If this is not just good advice in general, or if this is bad advice or whatever. So the very first one that he has is master something useful. He says, as a man, the world will value you based on what you create and provide. You'll be compensated according to your competence and usefulness. If you want to earn the respect of other men and adoration of women, then you must be useful. You can get angry or offended by this, but this is the way of the world. Thoughts?
It's hard to disagree with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, your value is based on what you bring to the table. I'm not sure what else your value would be in
do you
regarding...
lead with this in conversations? I mean, just as a guy. When you meet somebody, do you find out what they do pretty quick?
If I meet a new person, it's, small talk. Part of small talk, I'll ask what they do. I don't know, though, that I look at a person and go, you're not valuable or you are based on what you do, but I am genuinely interested in what somebody does, because if they do have something, then maybe they can become more valuable than what they are, because now they're not an acquaintance. They're a link or an outreach or a contact that I can use to achieve something on my own end, and maybe we can help one another in life.
Well, that's the difference between a Christian worldview and a non-Christian worldview, is that everybody has inherent value as somebody who is a created by God individual.
It's interesting, though, because he said this is the way of the world, because whenever we get a little bit further on, you'll find something else that he recommends. So the second one is get in excellent physical shape. He said, barring an ailment or an injury, you are currently experiencing the easiest time of your life to get into excellent physical shape. You have the time, energy, recovery capacity, and hopefully the motivation to get it done. He says strength train 3 to 5 times per week and take it seriously. This is something that I would say, to me, I look at this and go, absolutely 100%. Because I didn't do this whenever I was, in that age group. I didn't take care of myself. We joke about it, but I ballooned to 330 pounds, and I ended up having heart attacks because of it. Subsequent 3 heart attacks because of poor decisions that I made in my life, younger point. But because I was still in my 20s, I was able to drop that weight fairly quickly. I've noticed now that I'm in my 40s that trying to drop a pound or 2 or 5 pounds or whatever is a lot more difficult. It's a lot more difficult to add muscle. All of that stuff changes. And it's easier to get in shape and to continue in shape whenever you're in your 40s than it is to get in your shape later on in your life. So don't push that to the side.
Ryan, you listening to this?
Well, I really want to commend us, because he's right. It is tough to joke about his overweight heart attack period, but we still managed to do it.
It's tough for me to joke about it, guys. It's really easy for other people to pick on me for being
Brad
fat.
Literally on the verge of death multiple times, and we're just laughing about it.
Well, we're very careful, though. We do still do it. I will say this.
It's a gift.
Not necessarily about weight training, but I remember when I was in college, and this is speaking to a younger generation, so kind of similar. I had a pastor who said, listen, whatever you're going to do it now, because you have more time now than you will ever have. And I remember thinking, that's ridiculous. I have less time now than I used to. But it was still true.
Yes.
Because you have less and less time the more time goes on.
Yeah, this is 100% true. Number 3, live by God's law. He says, the older that I get, the more I realize that the Bible is right about everything. I don't know your personal religious beliefs, but I can tell you that if you strive to live according to God's commandments, then you will avoid a lot of unnecessary pain. You will also experience a sense of meaning, purpose, and joy that many of your peers may lack. And this, I cannot stress enough. The truth and the good things in the Bible, the truth of the Bible is still true whether you believe it or not. There are good... Like, if you are out there and you're listening and you're an atheist or you don't believe in God or whatever, you can't just throw away the whole Bible. I'm certain you can go through the Bible and find moral teachings that you can apply to your life that will have positive outcomes. I believe that the whole thing is of value, but you are going to find something of value in the Scriptures and live by that. Do your best to follow those things because, in the end, it's going to have a positive impact on your life.
I did not know that Zuby was a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw a testimony the other day of I don't know, there's like popularity online and you see somebody and you're like, well, that person has 3 million followers and I've never heard of them. And so this was one of those girls. And I think she maybe was like an OnlyFans kind of dabbler. Those people get huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like the followings that those girls will get from just doing
it's
OnlyFans stuff.
It's poison too.
It is crazy, but they blow up and they get so rich. And she was talking about that. She was saying, I got very, very wealthy. She said she had a 4,200 square foot house when she was like 19.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, the way she was talking about it, you're like, well, I guess that's what you would do if you're a 19-year-old girl. She's like, I could go buy any bag I wanted. And I was like, well, that's boring. But, but you can buy whatever. She was saying she could go buy anything she wanted. And then her testimony was that she had become a Christian within the last couple of years. And she's like, the thing that stuck out to me is she goes, back then, I almost didn't feel anything. I just felt nothing. And now I feel real emotions. I'm like, wow, what an interesting testimony.
With something as extreme as that, when you are constantly surrounded by it, right, I imagine it probably to a certain extent just kind of numbs you to anything else.
Probably.
Right? Something that most people, Christian or not, would look at how many years ago, especially for millennials, and would say, ooh, that's not normal. That's probably not considered to be, morally of high compass, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden you're surrounded by that and it's all that your life is. Man, I mean, I can totally understand how it would numb you to everything.
We're getting closer to the end of the segment here, so I'm going to hit a couple of these rapid fire, but if anything catches your interest, go ahead and stop me. Number 4 is go on an adventure. He says there's no rites of passage in the modern world, so you need to create your own. Lots of cultures have had those rites of passage in becoming a man, and he said go on an adventure. Number 5 is really important. He said don't make a serious life-changing mistake. Some of the ones that he says is don't get a woman pregnant who isn't your wife, don't get a criminal record, don't get addicted to drugs or alcohol, or don't get into massive debt. If you avoid those things, you're going to have a lot of success in life. He says to learn about Bitcoin, and he means Bitcoin specifically, not just any cryptocurrency.
I'm in Fartcoin.
Fartcoin, yeah.
I'm almost exclusively in Fartcoin.
Ryan likes those meme coins. Number 7, I like this one. Take yourself seriously. He said, take life seriously enough to become successful, but not so seriously that you become depressed. Number 8 is work hard and smart. He said some people work hard, some people work smart. Very rarely do people do both. And if you do that, you will excel no matter the field.
Doesn't it crack you up? Have you ever met somebody who works really hard to not work? I had friends like this
Have
growing
you,
up.
Ethan, met anybody that works really hard to not work?
I know you're side-eyeing me.
There is a name or two that ring a bell.
Yeah, like they let's make the poll about having somebody else host the 2 o'clock hour.
I kind of walked into that. Look, I'll admit that. But I'm thinking of friends who would go out of their way to skirt the system. And I'm like, dude, you're spending more time doing this other stuff than you are just getting a job.
Yeah. Yeah, I've met people like that.
So you named like what, nine reasons. I wonder.
I've got 3 more.
We'll come back to those in a minute. I wonder what percentage of Gen Zers would look at those 9 and would say like, oh, okay, like that makes sense. Like how much of them are just like, no, like that's obvious, duh. Because I look at those, I'm like, that is pretty clear. Like, those are 9 general things that you should live by, and that millennials would say duh to all of those. And I don't know if everyone in my generation would.
Well, let me ask you this, because I don't have a lot of experience with Gen Z. To what extent, because I know whenever I was younger, I wasn't looking to the future a lot. What was my future going to be like? To what extent does your generation think about the future and planning for the future?
I would argue that a lot of people in my generation right now are really in the middle of that, in the thick of that, because now, I mean, you look at
that's where you're at.
How hard it is to, I mean, owning a home for people in my generation that are coming out of college that are just your typical like 9 to 5, it looks almost unrealistic, right? So people, I think, in my day and age are panicking, trying to figure out how are they going to build success, how are they going to do these things. So I would argue that a lot of people are currently in that.
I would say my experience with that is that, yeah, your generation is a lot more concerned about that than my generation was.
If you're in Gen Alpha, do you think, am I maybe going to marry a cartoon robot?
Is that what the current one is?
Well, that's just the future, you know. The future is going to look a lot different.
Yeah, they're not thinking about any of these things, just robots.
Okay.
Quick pause. When we return, well, there's no YouTube live chat poll results today because you are actively listening to the results right now. Ethan hosting the Mannie Frey Show. You are listening to it right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey, it's Mark Cox. Join me July 28th at Old Hickory Golf Club for the Missouri Republican PAC's first annual golf tournament benefiting Senator Adam Schnelting. Teams and individual golfers are welcome. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon with news for listeners who, like me, want to learn more about Bitcoin. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club is coming to St. Louis later this summer. The Bitcoin Ben Crypto Clubs teach members what Bitcoin is, how to buy it, how to safely store it, and how to avoid scams. And we'll connect with others like us who want to learn more about crypto. St. Louis will be the 7th club nationwide and Ben's hometown. If you want to know more about Bitcoin, you need to know Bitcoin Ben. Learn more at bitcoinben.io. That's bitcoinben.io.
When's the last time you gave your home's exterior a little love? Hi, it's Kim, and if your siding is cracking, it's fading, or just doesn't stand up to our St. Louis weather, it's time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design because they're experts in James Hardy siding, which is this durable, low-maintenance option, and it looks beautiful. Plus, you have customizable colors and textures, and so you can give your home a completely new look while protecting it for decades. Don't wait until the small problems turn into big ones. Visit lakesidearty.com to schedule your free consultation.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-770-0850. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance to buy $1 million of affordable term life for you. All you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-770-0850. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-770-0850. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-770-0850. 800-770-0850.
Now, back to the Annie Frey Show. Real talk for real people. 97.1 FM Talk.
Sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah.
Welcome back to the Mannie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk. Ethan Hannaford, Brad Range, Ryan Wiggins. If you heard that, you heard a little bit of Flo Rida performing at Busch Stadium tonight for their summer concert series after the game.
Was that Flo Rida?
Well, that was the feature in the song. The song was Flo Rida, but that female singer was not Flo Rida.
I could not have even named a single song by Flo Rida. I remember the name.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have.
Really?
Yeah. Welcome to My House. I don't know if that's the name of the song.
It's My House.
My House. Whistle. Is that him?
Yep.
Does it go, welcome to our house
You definitely,
in the middle of our street?
No, not
you
that
definitely know Low. Come on.
Low?
Apple bottom jeans. Boots.
Oh, apple bottom jeans. No, I have no clue, man. No clue.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You don't know the song Low?
I don't listen to hip
Oh,
hop at all.
gosh.
It's like a wedding staple. Like reception.
It's kind of ironic
staple.
that it is, but yeah.
It totally
know.
is.
Well, I mean, maybe if I heard it.
You definitely would.
No, I don't know. He was
Should have
playing.
got low.
No, we got
Nothing.
media passes in March, me and my son, to go down to Busch Gardens. So we're theme park nuts. So we went down there, and I'm like, oh, this is great. We got media passes. We can go to Busch Gardens and SeaWorld, and then we also did Disney, even though they don't do anything. And
They don't need
They
that.
don't need you. They don't need anything. But we went to Busch Gardens on a day that I thought, oh, it won't be that busy. You know, it's March. It's just not.
Yeah.
You don't think it's going to be a big day, but it was a Saturday. And freaking, we show up and Flo Rida's playing that night. And
so
dude,
mad.
that place was jam packed. We
When was this?
This was in March.
Why do you think they gave you media passes?
Well, we could have chosen the day. We just happened to choose that day, and it happened to be when he was there. And I think we rode 3 rides the whole day.
I can't believe that Flo Rida's still packing places out.
Well, I mean, it was in Florida.
I mean, I guess there is a theme. There is a certain theme to that, isn't there?
There is a generation that there's a group of people out there that they love. It's like that's the soundtrack of their high school life. and
Oh
they
yeah,
love
no
that stuff.
for sure. I guess so. Busch Gardens. Busch Gardens. That was the last time you were at Busch Gardens?
Yeah.
You bounced around a lot of theme parks. That's I know a hobby you like to like to do that. And you recently were just at a couple, I think. What's your favorite one in the country?
I mean,
Amusement park.
Disney's the Cadillac. It's the best of all of them. They just have the most money. They put the most attention to detail into everything. And you can ride those rides multiple times because they are not just... See, if you go to a theme park, a lot of rides are just the thrill of that ride. Disney and Universal to some extent, and more parks are starting to do this a little bit. They're starting to use the other senses other than just like G-force.
They're starting to emphasize the theme in theme park.
And so you go through, especially if it's an indoor ride, you're going through tunnels, you got screens, you got sound in the ride a lot of times, like in the roller coaster. Yeah. And so they're starting to put speakers in the seats to where when you hit certain spots in the, not even coasters all the time, but you usually hit certain spots in the ride and it'll just trigger the characters saying things and creating stories. And there's so much more to it than there used to be. And the parks that are going to survive are the ones that care about that stuff, because the multi-sensory aspect of rides is the future of the whole thing.
Yeah. From the moment you set foot on a Disney property, you're being entertained, whether you realize it or not. From the moment we walked into the hotel room and we were being entertained.
They control what you smell.
Yeah.
It's so specific.
What the heck?
You need to go and just
I haven't
to see what it's like.
Yeah, it's been over 10 years.
You appreciate it differently as an adult too, because you can see all those little details and realize how much work goes into it.
Yeah.
I'm sure I would. Guys, I think I've said this to you before. I just don't like people. There's so
I understand.
many people. There's people everywhere.
That won't be the problem when you go there.
What will be the problem?
There won't be one.
You won't have any money.
Yeah, money. They'll take all of it.
Yeah. That would be a pretty big problem for me.
The joke is, you know why Mickey Mouse wears gloves, right?
No.
So you can't see his fingerprints on your wallet.
That's pretty dirty.
It takes a lot of money to go there.
The results of the YouTube live chat poll,
well, I guess we are still sharing them, aren't we?
Are that you wanted Ethan to host the 2 o'clock hour, and you did it. And here's the thing. He got through the whole hour, and the results haven't gone down. They've stayed the same. Well,
they were like
a tiny, tiny fraction of a percentage. Maybe it went down.
It's fine. It's fine. I appreciate all of you, except for the people, the 82% of you that wanted me to host the 2 o'clock hour. In reality, my biggest supporters are the ones that said, get him off of here. This has been the Mannie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. Sinking concrete can lead to trips, falls, and structural concerns. I was talking to Matt Hayes, the owner at Home Shield Foundation Repair, and he was talking about how he had a client whose garage had a crack in it. And then the floor kind of started to become a little bit more uneven. And then over the course of time, it caved in because the way that the foundation for that garage had been poured, it separated, it created a hole, water got under there, and the worst of the worst happened.